To play golf, hike, walk your dog, enjoy more time with your family, whatever it is, don't wait one more day. Get started with a call to QC Kinetics for your complimentary consultation. 512-593-4303. That's 512-593-4303. One more time, 512-593-4303. In Austin and in Round Rock, QC Kinetics.
If the price you see is the price you want to pay, come see Henna Chevrolet.
I went to sign the papers for a new Tahoe and saw the price jumped almost $4,000. I thought it was a typo, but turns out it's for overpriced add-ons like tint and floor mats. So I called Henna, got a price, brought a check, and left with a Tahoe.
For a lower price made clear, find new roads at HennaChevyAustin.com.
Hi, I'm Josh.
I'm Stephanie.
And I'm Greg. We're the same Austin family that started A-Plus Air Conditioning and Home Solutions over 45 years ago.
When you call A-Plus for a new system, you get my dad,
Greg,
or my brother,
Josh.
Dad helped start the Austin Energy programs, and Josh has been by his side since he was 16.
Call A-Plus Air Conditioning at 512-450-1980 for fast service, seasonal checkups, and affordable prices on new Lennox systems.
you can't do better than A-Plus.
License B5235C.
It's time to warm up that scoreboard and get ready to bring home the win with Specs. Specs has you covered with lower prices on all your favorite fan fuel. From craft beer, rare spirits, and world-class wine to chips, dips, and gourmet finer foods. And with same-day delivery when you order online or through the app, Specs is your MVP for the biggest score of the game. At Specs, the fun starts here.
Here's to you, cheers to savings.
Guests on the Horn appear courtesy of the Vaqueros Cafe and Cantina Hotline. Vaqueros now delivers and offers curbside pickup. For info on placing your lunch or dinner order, visit vaqueroscafe.com.
You damn right. Hope everybody's having a good Friday. Make sure you got your rain gear for the weekend. The greater Austin area going to get hit with some rain throughout the weekend. Because of that, Texas baseball had to adjust a little bit. We'll get you all the latest there. We got NBA to get into. We've got NFL schedules to dig through. And yes, we will talk album swap today on a Friday. A Tribe Called Quest and Metallica up for discussion today. That's coming up later on in our 2 o'clock hour, but we'll crank it up right now and jump into all of it. It's Chad and Zay on this Friday. I'm Chad Hastings, and he is Isaiah Collier. What's up, Zay?
Chad, what's poppin'? Happy Friday, everybody. Happy Mother's Day to all the lovely moms out there. Mama, Annie Lillian Collier, I love you.
Oh, there you go.
Ain't no woman alive that would take my mama's place. Shout out to Tupac.
Yes, that's a goal. That's a good one. That's a good one. Also, shout out to Glenn Danzig, because I think Danzig's Mother is one of the most romantic, just heartfelt mother songs ever.
Yeah.
Mother, tell your children not to walk my way. I mean, it just...
that is a jam, huh?
I sing it to my mom every year. She runs, but I sing it to her every year. Yeah, shout out to all those great moms out there. My mom's name is Sylvia. It's a classic. You don't get a lot of Sylvias anymore. Not a lot of people naming their kids Sylvia.
Yeah.
That's my mom. Happy Mother's Day to her. My wife, now the mother of almost a 17-year-old. Whew. Shout out to my wife, because those two sometimes don't get along.
You always talk about that.
They will butt heads a little bit. They will butt heads a little bit. Oh man, no,
it's just
but
a phase.
I love watching her. Watching her be a mom. She is unbelievable. So to all those great moms out there, especially if it's your first Mother's Day, that's a really special one, man. If it's the first Mother's Day since she became a mom, make sure you're doing some nice things for her this weekend. That is on Sunday, and lots of different stuff out there. Like we said, there's rearranging on the schedule. Let me just make sure everybody understands. Texas baseball doubleheader today. All the shows are regular, though, through 6:15. So you still get all the shows. We appreciate you, supporting the shows and everything. So all that's going to be regular through 6:15. But at 2 o'clock over on 1260 and 101.9, you will have Texas baseball against San Jose State. and then the regular game at 6:30 that was going to happen, it'll still be 6:30. It'll just be the second game of a doubleheader, and now that will be still will be on 104.9 and be on the Horn all over the broadcast there. So just make that adjustment for you coming up at 2 o'clock, so you'll know where the game will be, and may need to grab that app or whatever. If you listen to the shows on 1260, you may need to adjust a little bit, there in terms of the game. So that is for later on. We got a lot of stuff to get into today. Zay, the NBA did not. It always gives you something. Last night didn't quite give us what we've been getting in terms of some of those really close, incredibly dramatic games. I'd say one of the games had the drama. The other game did not.
Yep.
Where do we start today?
Yeah, you got to start with the Boston Celtics and what they did to force a Game 7. I mean, Philly, we talked about them those fans turning on the Sixers, and it happened very early.
Yeah.
When the Celtics went up by 16 in the first quarter, you could hear oh, man, here we go. Just the rumblings and uncertainty, the restlessness, and they came back. They came back and took a lead. We went all the way to the fourth quarter. Jason Tatum is playing like trash.
He was awful.
He was terrible.
Up until the fourth.
3 points. And 3 points until the fourth quarter. And, Chad, you gotta, when something like that happens, when only Jason Tatum is struggling like that and only has 3 points in the third, and Jaylen Brown, who was second team All-NBA, ends up with 17, you win that game. You have to win that game.
If you're Philly.
At home?
If you're Philly.
At home?
Yep.
You have to win that game. Both of those guys don't get over 20 points and you lose?
Mm-hmm.
Are you serious? And Doc Rivers, why do you have Milton in the game that long? DeAnthony Milton, why is he playing 24 minutes with that broke-ass jumper that could build houses out here in Westlake with those bricks? Why is he in the game right now? Because Niang was playing way better than him. Way better. George Niang, he was playing so much better. The guy out of Iowa State, I know Texas fans remember him. He was nice there. He was nice. He might be one of the best players in Iowa State history for basketball.
Yeah, 15 minutes, 2 out of 3. What's the problem?
He was solid. He was getting steals. He was playing D. He ripped Jason Tatum. Jason Tatum drove to the hole, ripped him. And, you don't want to close with him? You're afraid? You got another guy in that they're just leaving open. James Harden would drive to the hole. They would collapse on them. When they went on that drought and they only scored 3 points in the last 6 minutes of the fourth quarter, James Harden would drive, and he made the right play. Some people are saying, James, you might have to take that shot. And there were a couple of gimmies he should have took, a couple of floaters I think he should have, attempted that he was hitting in that game 4, I want to say it was, where he had 40-something. But he was throwing it out instead to the open shooter. P.J. Tucker, he ain't hitting that right now. DeAnthony Milton, he ain't hitting that right now. Niang, he's hit you a couple tonight. Put him in the game. But no, just let it ride. Just let it ride. Because I guess in Doc's mind, hey, we're locking up these guys, which they were. So that's kind of what you go through as a coach. You maybe second guess yourself, even though you're not producing much on offense, you're locking up on D. The D was there. You are locking up. Everybody was tight in that game. It seemed like everybody knew that they knew what was at stake. The Celtics knew, man, if we lose, this might be the end to what we try to get going here. The Celtics, remember, 2018, that core that you see, Al Horford, Marcus Smart, Jason Tatum, Jaylen Brown, even though Jason Tatum was a rookie and Jaylen Brown was in his second year, they took LeBron and the Cavaliers to the Eastern Conference Finals in Game 7. They've been together for a very long time. And if they would have lost last night, a lot of questions would have been asked. Should we keep these guys together? Should we ship Jaylen Brown, especially with all the money he's supposed to be getting?
I was going to say, we talked about yesterday. He's set up for the money. Jason Tatum's set up for the money in 2 years.
I don't know if you keep both.
Can you keep it all?
We got to start. We're in the New England area. Maybe somebody, Wahlberg, Robert Kraft, somebody needs to call him call Tom Brady, bro. You don't need all that money. I get it. Your ego gonna look you in the face and say, but Trae Young's making more than me. I'm better than him.
Right.
He was the most overrated player in the league. Oh, Jamal Murray, if he didn't have Nikola Jokic, would he be making this much money? Your pride gets in the way. It starts mucking up stuff in your head, especially these guys have egos. That's how they got here. Being the best player their whole lives. A lot of guys say Shaquille O'Neal, reason why he left the Orlando Magic, because who got money that year? Somebody got paid that. Alonzo Mourning. Alonzo Mourning. He got a huge contract going from Charlotte to Miami, and it was more than Shaq in Florida.
Yeah.
Which, come on, Alonzo Mourning, Shaquille O'Neal, not even close. As good as Alonzo Mourning was, Hall of Famer, Georgetown Hoya, he was a great. Shaq, it's not even close. Shaq was one of the best centers of all time. You cannot say that about Zoe. But he was so damn petty, he said, Orlando, y'all got that? Orlando, expansion team. Hell no, we ain't got that.
Right.
Jerry West came in and said, Diesel.
I got that.
I got that, bro.
Yeah, I got
that. So, again, if I'm Jaylen Brown and I'm Jason Tatum, I would look in the mirror and say, yo, it's a lot of money that we're going to get. Let's try to keep this core together. And, yeah, now you don't have to answer those questions for one more game.
Yeah. As a third-party observer to these Lakers and these Celtics right now, I'm a Mavs guy. When the Lakers play the Celtics, I root for the Lakers. But I'm not a fan truly of either one. The way they can each go up and down right now, I think is fascinating to watch for all of us fans. They are the two legendary franchises, and on certain nights you think, man, they're pretty damn good. Maybe they can, and then before you can even finish the thought sometimes, they'll turn the other way. But last night, they found a way somehow. I'll say what you said earlier, just in a little different way. Philly let Boston win a game where Marcus Smart led them in scoring. Scoring. In 2023, Marcus Smart led the Celtics in scoring, and they won a playoff game on the road.
Yeah.
That's inexcusable.
Yeah, you can't. You can't. I can't even fathom that.
Zay,
what?
Try to explain this to me. As you're watching the end of that game, and it's pretty close. Like, I know it was a 24-13 fourth quarter, but Philly had fought back, like you said, and taken a lead. And it's pretty much a battle. What in the world was going on?
It was like 83-81 Philly.
Yes, it was in that, and that's when Tatum hit two massive threes in that sequence.
So tough.
But what the hell happened to the demeanor, the spark, the attitude that the Philadelphia 76ers had? It's like they gave up with, 4.5 on the clock, 3 minutes left, coaching, players, and fans. It's like they all decided that it was over at the same time.
It's the mental aspect of, we just held one of the best players in the world, which he said it after the game. Jason Tatum goes, humbly, I'm one of the best players in the world.
Yeah.
Humbly, I'm one of the best players in the world, which that's real. He right. First team all league.
I agree with him.
He is right. So you hold them to 3 points the first 3 quarters, and then all of a sudden he hits 4 of the most daggering threes in the last 3 minutes like that, and you can't score. Like, that's tough. Yeah. He hit them back to back, and it was good D too. Joel Embiid had a great contest right in his face, dotted his eye. Come back on the other side of the wing. Tyrese Maxey, great contest. It wasn't like he even saw him. Bam. Like, weren't we just locking this guy up? What happened? Then he comes back and hits a couple of more. So, yeah, their morale, just their attitude, completely deflated. And they know, going back to Beantown, they needed this game.
Yeah.
Because you held the team to 95 points. Like you said, Marcus Smart, the leading scorer with 22. Jaylen Brown, Jason Tatum, one first team, one second team, didn't get over 20 points, and you still lose.
That is crazy. 42% from the floor for Boston. The key ends up being the threes. 43% total, and that 4 of 11 for Tatum. That's not great, but the 4 was massive because the fourth one was nail in the coffin. It's officially over, but you're right. As he's hitting those threes, it took a little more of their soul every time, and by the end of it, James Harden was pouty James Harden.
Yep.
Embiid was a zombie, and Doc Rivers was looking for excuses.
Yeah, and Joe Mazzulla, as much crap as he's been getting, you've been talking about he should be fired if they lose this series. Him starting Robert Williams was a huge game changer.
Oh, you told him to.
Oh, did I?
You told him to start the Aggie?
Interesting.
You need to listen to Zay.
Interesting how things like that work.
When Zay says start the Aggie, start the Aggie.
All right, let's relax on the Aggie talk.
Okay.
He was there for 1 year. He probably realized, this is a horrible place. Let me get out of here as quick as possible. Hey, Robert, you're not even ready for the league. It doesn't matter.
How dare you?
It doesn't matter.
I'm going to claim him today. Claiming him now.
Yeah, but he was a difference maker. He was. The lob, the alley-oops, making Joel Embiid have to guard, coming around, help side blocks and stuff. He was solid. And he's been averaging 18 minutes. Then he got 28. Joe Mazzulla start him again. Al Horford, I'd sit him a little bit more. Just a little bit more. Because, Al Horford, he's still that broke jumper, 2 points. Nah, man. Al, you're not giving us anything. nothing
Uh-huh.
with your pops out here looking like Spawn. You ain't giving us nothing. Yo, you seen Al Horford's pops before?
Did you just say his dad looks like
Yo,
Spawn?
this dad's a different type of fella, but it's okay. He making millions. I talk about these millionaires because they
Dang,
good.
okay.
He fine. He making millions.
all
His
right.
dad, he getting pedicures and stuff. His dad living lavish. He'll get over what I say.
All right,
but
fair
yeah,
enough.
2 points now. I ain't gonna cut it. Play Derek White more. Play Malcolm Brogdon more, and play Robert Williams more.
Man, that was so that's going to be a game 7. You got half of what you wanted.
Yeah.
Last night, half. We'll see. You might get 3 out of 4. You might get 3 out of 4 because tonight could produce 2 more game 7s. But last night, we end up with that game 7 gets created. I believe it's going to be Sunday, but we don't know when yet because they're waiting to see if we get more game 7s. The other game, Zay, ends up being an absolute destruction. Denver, 125-100. It wasn't that close. It was 30 at the half.
Yeah, man. And like I said yesterday when Mark Henry was on with us, DeAndre Ayton, I get why you were scared. I'd be scared too having to face Nikola Jokic. That dude is a grown-ass man. He's unstoppable. He's absolutely unstoppable, especially with the way the role players are playing. Jamal Murray, he's playing like an all-star, so you got to worry about him like we talked about yesterday. And then Kentavious Caldwell-Pope, you're the 5th guy we have to worry about in their starting lineup.
21 last
21.
night.
Where'd that come from?
On 7 of 11. An efficient 21.
Yeah, people forget he has a ring with the bubble team Lakers. Like, he's
You're
not
right.
phased.
I forgot
He's
that.
not phased by the moment. He's not. And we always forget about this Nuggets team. People slept on them all year long. No one picked them to win it. No one.
For a while, they didn't.
Yeah.
Remember? They got down on themselves.
Right. They were tripping for a little bit toward the end of the season.
Coach ripped them, and they ripped themselves.
Big reason why Joker didn't get his 3rd MVP, and it went to Joel Embiid.
Yeah.
Because they went on that little slump. But I've always said I take Joker over Embiid. First of all, the health factor. He's never hurt. He's always there.
He's ready
always
to go.
durable. Yep. He doesn't jump over a Sunday paper, so you're not worried about him being athletic or getting over the rim and coming down on the ankle or something like that. Just his footwork, it's Mikal-esque, it's Hakeem-esque. Like, his footwork is that good. Doesn't have that speed, obviously,
Right.
but he has the body. He's so physical. Like, people think he's such a finesse player because of his passing and stuff, which he is. But when he wants to be physical and when he wants to use his body, like, he drove to the lane for a floater and Bismack Biyombo, it was good D. He cut him off, but he acted like he wasn't even there. He just kind of pushed him to the side with a shoulder. It was a legal call. It wasn't a push off. It was just get in the weight room, buddy. And Jock Landale, bless his heart, as great Mark Henry would say, no chance. And then you go back to DeAndre Ayton. Domantas Sabonis, they had the same injury. Now, obviously, pain tolerance is different for everyone, to each his own, but this dude got stomped on by Draymond Green's big-ass foot, and he still played. He wasn't the same.
No, but he gritted. He at least got out there.
And DeAndre Ayton, you have a rib contusion. Like, we didn't see you fall down or get stomped or anything like that, but you can't play. Like, at least try. At least get out. At least have some pride, Yeah. And KD and Devin Booker is just too much. Like, these games that they've been trying to roll out there, like, it's taken a lot out of D-Book. You could tell he was exhausted. Same with KD, trying to guard these guys, and then going back to Mike Malone's just offense with the Joker. You're setting screens for him, so he's dribbling the ball. Bigs aren't used to guarding that. They're not. They're used to being the one that calls out the screen. Hey, screen left, screen right. They're not used to being screened, especially on ball screen, looking to your left and right and then having to worry about, okay, if my man steps up, I'm going to have to take his man. There's just so much that goes on that bigs aren't used to. And you have to be when you play Joker.
He makes you go there.
He makes you go there.
Right.
And it's so hard to guard when you got KCP hitting shots. In the previous game, you got Bruce Brown hitting threes.
Bruce Brown did it again. Double figures off the bench.
He's tough, man.
He really is.
I like him a lot. He's a really tough player. It was interesting how they were using them. Steve Nash was using them weirdly in Brooklyn. Like, they were using them like as a 4-man where he would set on-ball screens for Durant and they would play pick and roll. And that's really all he did. He would do it for him and Kyrie. He wouldn't have the ball in his hand very much. And when he came to Denver, they talked about it. He was like, yo, nobody really knows what I am. And Mike Malone was like, well, you're a basketball player. You'll fit in.
Yeah.
We'll find a place for you. And it's worked.
So real quick before the break, I want to get your thoughts. Were you a little disappointed to hear that Devin Booker didn't talk to the media?
Yes.
Because I thought
I didn't even know that. Yeah.
I thought he kind of hung Durant out to dry a little bit there. When Paul's not playing, he doesn't have to do it. You left the head coach and you left your other big-time player to eat a 25-point loss. You couldn't – he had 2 hours knowing they were getting their ass whooped, and he couldn't just answer a couple questions?
Pride, Chad. Pride. He saw Bad Bunny. WWE, sellout crowd. People saying his name and stuff. Who's with Bad Bunny now? Kendall. She left you for him.
I get that part, but he also loves Kobe. Kobe would have eaten that with the media. Kobe would have sat there and dealt with it.
Right, you're right.
Because I bet Kobe met when the Mavs swept Kobe that year and then really drove him nuts. I bet he still talked to the media.
Yeah, and
that's his job.
Very few people have the mental toughness of Kobe Bryant. Well, you could get absolutely embarrassed and still be locked in and still do your job no matter what.
Right.
Like guys, even Devin Booker, as tough as he is, that's a weak move. But yeah, he's prideful.
That's tough. Yeah, that was rough, man. Durant with only 23 and 12 from Devin Booker. There was a point, honestly, mid-second quarter or so, where if as a fight fan, they should have called it. Somebody should have thrown a towel.
Throw the damn towel.
That's it. We're done. I mean, really, we're done. I swear the score was like 53 to whatever the heck Phoenix had at that moment, and I realized, this is over.
They went on a 19-0 run in 4 minutes. And then later on in the game, they went on a 17-2 run in like 3 minutes.
Yeah. And they got a little lackadaisical in that third quarter, and Malone started screaming at him to try to get him back, but it wasn't going to matter. But even that, they got into kind of they got a little bored. They yelled at him. They eventually battled back, and I think and then the lead got like trimmed to 23.
Yeah. Trimmed
to 18. It's like, whatever.
They're in a weird spot, the Suns are for the future, because you can no longer have Chris Paul on your team. He can't. He won't be available because he's always injured. And because he's always injured, he's losing more and more steps. So along with Father Time and age, him being 38 years old, and it's so hard at his stature, the fact that he's lasted this long is incredible. Like, it's absolutely amazing. But look at all the small guards in NBA history. They don't last. Isaiah Thomas, you don't last. Like, when you get into double digits, you don't last very long at all. It just doesn't happen. That's why, you don't see Steph Curry, what he's doing. Absolutely incredible. It seems like he's going to be able to play till he's 40, but that's the style of play. CP3, he's always had to drive and get in the mid-range. He's always been a defender and throwing his body out there. And yeah, if you're a Phoenix Suns, you're the GM. I'm not bringing him back. I might not bring Ayton back. And with what he showed, who would want him?
Yeah, to me, those guys that's a tough thing because, one's probably too old and one's probably too young.
Yes.
In a lot of ways. And you probably aren't going to move forward if you have both of them.
Yeah, and think about how hard drafting is. DeAndre Ayton, number 1 pick, bust. Nikola Jokic, like 50-something, 2-time MVP, about to lead his team to the Western Conference Finals for the second time. Like, it's tough. You can still get it wrong.
Is that a value pick?
Yeah.
You get value for that pick?
Just a little bit. Just a little bit.
A little bit of value for that pick. Denver wins big. That series is over. Denver is the first team into the conference finals tonight. We might get 2 more, Miami and the Lakers, both at home. Both trying to close the door and avoid Game 7. We'll definitely be getting Zay's thoughts on that. Your thoughts as well on the Specs text line, 337-3776. Already some great texts rolling in. Also, let us know what you think of those NFL schedules. Cowboy fans, what do you see? Texans fans, what do you see? If you have another team that you're focused on, let us know what you think of their schedules. We'll dig into a little bit of that coming up next. Plus, in the crap bag a little later on, an analyst in the NBA did not quite understand what he was filling out. We will tell you about that and the apology, and the future of the cocktail party might have a weird little bump in the road. All that coming up on The Horn.
Chad and Zay.
Oh, man. Nothing against the song or the band. But if you haven't seen the video, you really don't know about this song. You really don't. Okay, Zay, this is one I think you just have to know the band name because I don't think they had much else. Is Stacy's Mom Fountains of Wayne?
Yeah.
Okay. So if you have not looked it up lately, take a moment today on YouTube or wherever and Google Stacy's Mom video. It features the swimsuit model and legend. I just lost Hunter's first name. What's her name?
Rachel.
Rachel Hunter. Thank you. Rachel Hunter, former wife of Rod Stewart.
Yeah, Rod was doing it.
Oh, my Lord. Her in the red bikini paying homage to Fast Times at Ridgemont High in this video is one of the greatest ideas ever. Shout out to everyone who made this video.
Stacy's Mom.
All right, since you're starting with Stacy's Mom, are we going with mom songs today?
Yeah, I guess.
Okay. All right. You are reluctant to hit a theme. That's what I like about you. Some guys that are in charge of the music, they love the themes. They'll dig into the themes. They'll get really into it. Anytime you suggest a theme to Zay, it's like, I don't know, I might. Maybe. I don't know.
It's all about feel.
Okay. So we'll see. I also like the fact that sometimes you start with the theme and you'll just stop halfway through. No. Sorry, I'm going death metal the rest of the day. Or nope, sorry, I'm going down this. I found some cool funk from Bootsy Collins. We're going to do that. All right, speaking of music, we've not only got a couple of mom songs apparently, but we'll get the album swap discussion to you. 2:05. Normally we do it on Thursdays, but we took an extra day this week because of the weirdness at the beginning of the week. We wanted to make sure we had enough time to listen to these records too. So 2:05 today. A Tribe Called Quest and The Low End Theory and Metallica's Ride the Lightning have been chosen today. I had not heard the Tribe Called Quest album, and Zay had not heard the Metallica album. But now we have, and we're going to discuss those coming up at 2:05. Right now, though, let me remind you, if you missed the interview yesterday with Mark Henry, we had a great time. Mark Henry came in studio. Check out the YouTube page if you want to see and hear Mark Henry, because it's always cool to see that big old smile of his. And he was having a great time yesterday talking AEW, The Big Lift, Cheese Puffs, and a lot more. So thank you to our subscribers. We're at 956 now on that YouTube page. Go subscribe so you don't miss anything. YouTube.com/@TheHornAustin and go to TheHornAustin.com for all the info on the Big Lift event next Friday and the AEW event next Wednesday. Great to see Mark Henry. And by the way, I thought it was rude that Mark Henry tweeted out that picture of us and typed the Oreo brothers. I don't understand.
Wait, did he do that?
And he referred to me as double stuff yesterday. What is that? Double stuff means twice the cream. What is Mark Henry saying? I'll tell you what, Zay, if I ever get a feeling like I might be gaining a little too much weight, I'm gonna go hang with you and Mark Henry because I look like a child in that picture.
Yeah, you look
I look
small.
like I'm 12 in that picture.
Yeah, little body. It's all right, though.
My God. I look lean and mean.
Yeah, that should make you feel good.
Standing next to y'all.
Yeah, just say, like, look how in shape I am.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, a stick is a shape. Yeah, absolutely. It was great to see Mark yesterday. I can't wait for that event next week and the AEW as well. So check out hornfm.com for all that. You can check out NFL.com for all of the schedules. Schedule night happened last night at 7. I was dealing with the NBA games, and I wasn't specifically watching all the breakdown of the NFL, but I do love going to check the schedules, for my teams and, big matchups early in the season, things like that. Zay, what jumps out to you in terms of schedules? I know we're going to go game by game on the Cowboys coming up at 1:05. What jumped out to you in general, schedule-wise?
The disrespect the Atlanta Falcons are getting with no primetime games.
Oh.
That's what jumps out.
Ooh.
Bulletin board material.
Boy, you are a Falcons fan already,
man.
aren't you?
Well, I mean, Texas fans, they want to see Bijan. They don't want to have to pay that, the deal is, the YouTube deal for the NFL package.
YouTube Sunday ticket,
yeah.
Yep.
Now all Texas fans have to do that if they want to see Bijan Robinson, if you don't have the red zone package, etc. So that's tough, but it's okay. We get into week 15, 16 when they start flexing stuff because the Falcons are in contention to win the NFC South. It's fine. It's fine. But yeah, that jumped out. Man.
Yeah, you're going to have to also, I just saw that you're going to need to have ESPN Plus access for the game in London against Jacksonville.
So disrespectful. So disrespectful. It's cool. It's cool. They might be the fastest offense in the league, but it's cool. Not many people will see them. They'll shock the world.
Right now, every game Atlanta has is scheduled at noon except one. Sorry, except two. The one in London and a 3:05. That's it.
Damn.
The others there are some TBDs in there. Since you mentioned that, let's start there with Atlanta. They start with Carolina at home, and then they have Green Bay at home. So the home fans will get a chance to see Bijan and whatever that offense is going to be early on there. And I'm an NFL fan that always looks at the first two games. I'll look at some other things, but first two games are crucial, because you can't go 0-2 in the NFL. Even with a 17-game schedule, I think it's still true that puts you behind a different type of 8-ball. You want to get one of your first two. So Carolina, Green Bay. Got to win one of those if you're Atlanta to get off to a decent start, and then they'll roll through their season. They do play Houston, but not in Houston later on, and I'm trying to see if they get close. I guess the game at New Orleans could be one that, people in this area might want to think of. That's all the way at the end, though, January 7th. So if you want to go see that one and maybe make that, it's a long drive, but it's reasonable, much more reasonable than driving to Atlanta. So I'm interested to hear those stories of Longhorn fans that lock on to Bijan and, how do they do it? Are they going to games? Are they making drives? Are they flying out and stuff? How devoted are they going to be?
Pretty devoted.
Because you're already just talking it up like the NFL is discrediting them and disrespecting them.
Well, they got my favorite quarterback on their team and now my favorite running back in the NFL on that team. What do you want me to say?
Dude, you are
What do you want me to say?
You are dirty bird all the way right now.
Oh, man.
You are ready.
Like a dirty sitting in birdish.
So here's what I noticed as a Cowboys fan. We'll go over the Cowboys stuff later, but the Eagles statistically have the hardest schedule in the league. Wow.
Yeah.
There's a run.
That usually happens.
So here's the Eagles. They have they start out at New England and Minnesota at home. Win one of those two to get off to a good start. Philly has a stretch in October where they go at the Rams, at the Jets, Miami at home, back to back to back.
Oof.
Then when they get to November, here is their run of 6 games in a row. They play Dallas at home, then a bye week, at Kansas City, Buffalo at home, San Francisco at home, at Dallas, at Seattle.
Good grief.
That's the November-December section for them. The other thing I love, Cowboys fans, listen to me closely, because it's kind of a college feel to what I'm about to say. The Eagles will play the Cowboys twice, obviously, but they get no bye before. The Cowboys play the Eagles, and they get a bye of sorts for both games. They get the actual bye for one of them, and they get the Thursday night to the next Sunday for the other one, because they'll go Thanksgiving. They're going double Thursday on the Cowboys, and then that next Sunday coming around after a 10-day break, that's when the Cowboys play the Eagles again.
Yeah, it's brutal. One thing about the Eagles and the style they play, Nick Sirianni's team offensively with Jalen Hurts running the ball so much, we saw this past year. That could take a toll on you. So when you're playing against all these high-caliber teams and you're running the football with your quarterback and, now you have my man Swift coming over rocking 0. I like that. I've never seen a 0 for the Philadelphia Eagles.
I didn't hear that.
Yeah.
Interesting. Wow. A running back at 0 is going to be weird.
I think it's going to be fine.
That's going to be weird to get used to, but it's cool.
It's going to be different, but so that's going to be tough. The Eagles are going to be tested, and we know, just history shows, the team that loses in the Super Bowl rarely gets back that following year.
Mm-hmm.
It's very difficult to do that. I don't know if it's because the team that loses in the Super Bowl always has the toughest schedule. You might have to look at the history where that goes, but yeah, that's just, it always happens that way. So if you're Philly, not feeling too good.
Yeah. No, they always make sure, since Philly was a first-place team, you got an extra first-place team on your schedule now. So they have to play 5 of the other 7 first-place teams. That's what it means when you finish first.
Yeah, that's a big reason why.
That's big. And then, because then 2 years ago, since they weren't that good, they got to have a lesser schedule. And also just this day and age, free agency, you're never going to have the same. You rarely have the same team back to back in the NFL ever now.
No.
It's almost impossible.
You definitely don't have the same coaching staff. My man left and went to Indianapolis.
Right, exactly. Did they lose OC and DC, or was it just one side?
I think they did lose DC
They might have lost
too.
both.
Yeah.
That's it. You're always getting coaches taken from you.
Because you did well. You got to strike while the iron's hot.
You're so good. You become the thing that people want to, they want to draw from that. So NFL schedules out there, let us know what you want to, somebody says you could go with E. Hogan's move, get the Fire Stick subscription package. Oh, I see. That's a whole nother deal. There's a lot of different ways. That's what you got to figure out. How are you going to do the streaming, and are you going to do the YouTube thing for the NFL Sunday Ticket? Get the schedules, and maybe that'll help you determine it. Let us know what you think of schedules. We'll go game by game over the Cowboys and see where that ends up on the schedule count. We'll count wins and losses, see how many wins we could give you, Cowboys fans. Let us know what your number is after looking at the schedule. Up next in the crap bag, time flying way too fast, plus something I've never done before that I'm going to do this weekend, and the mistake that Mark Jackson made that the NBA is talking about today. This is The Horn.
Chad and Zay.
Sounds like somebody loves their mama right here. God, I haven't heard this song in a long time. This is Boyz II Men, right?
That's right.
Yeah. Is it called Mama or For Mama?
A Song for Mama.
A Song for Mama, yeah. This just in. Huge limb I'm about to go on. They had a lot of talent, that Boyz II Men. My God. They were incredible. Incredible. Maybe it may still be together. I don't know if Boyz II Men still together or not. I don't know if they're still out there.
Together. It's just 3 though.
Oh, really?
I always see just 3 when I see Boyz II Men. It's I don't think they have the deep voice brother anymore.
Oh, is that what it is? Okay.
Probably because when they were 20, he was 40, so it didn't make sense.
Yeah, right. That's true. It wasn't just the, hey, baby, in his voice like he really was older.
No, he always looked so much older than the rest of the crew.
Yeah, he did. They were really, really impressive back in the day. And I know the harmonies are kind of what their signature was, but I'm such a big fan of, is it Wanye Morris? Is that his name?
I just know Sean.
One of the main lead guys.
Probably.
Oh, my God. What a voice he has. Boyz II Men and Fountains of Wayne. Songs about moms today. Shout out to all those great moms. I hope you have a good Mother's Day this weekend. Let's remind you, Texas baseball at 2 o'clock, so we'll get you score updates in the 2 o'clock hour. That's over on 1260 and 101.9. Shows will go normal till 6:15. Game 2, 6:30 tonight on the Horn, and so get the apps and everything adjusted there for later on today. All right, let's get into the crap bag here. We got a few different things for you, including the cocktail party discussion.
Chad's crap bag.
Crap bag. If you need an easy way to remember it, just think of a bag of crap.
It's something that maybe if you're a Texas and Oklahoma fan, you'll want to pay attention to here in just a second. But before we get there, a mistake in the world of basketball. He has apologized, but can you forgive this one? Mark Jackson, the ESPN and ABC analyst, is a voter for MVP. And he voted for MVP, and he voted for Joel Embiid, and Embiid, of course, wins MVP. But I guess either somebody realized it or somehow maybe these become public or somebody figured out that on his ballot, it did not include Jokic. Nikola Jokic was not on his list. So he's now had to come back and apologize. But Zay, he took the old man route and he said, I went with 1 center, 2 guards, and 2 forwards.
Oh, come on, fam.
What's the deal? Actually, what he did was he said that he went 1 center, 2 guards, 2 forwards because he mistakenly, in his mind, he thought it was all NBA. That's the excuse he's thrown out. Are you taking that excuse from him, or do you think he wanted to purposely have Joker off his list?
Mama, there goes that man that needs to get off this vote.
You want to take his vote for a year?
Yeah, no, the rest of his career.
Forever?
Yeah, give it to somebody else that was a legendary point guard or something. He don't need it. Come on, Mark.
I'm assuming you don't get paid for being a voter, and I would be perfectly okay with that. At least a suspension, if not, take it away from him. Dude, you can't vote for something and then later tell me, oh, my bad, I thought I was voting for the other thing. Well, then you don't need to vote.
Yeah, don't just say I mucked up because I was looking at the All-NBA teams. No, I'd rather him say, you know what? I think Jamal Murray is that dude. I think Michael Porter Jr. is that dude. And I think they help Joker more than people give him credit for.
Right.
I would have said that's BS, but...
Now we have a texter with a different theory. The texter says he's a racist. Maybe that's... Maybe that's it. Maybe that's it.
I don't think so. I'm pretty sure one of his best friends is Chris Mullin from back in their St. John's days. So I don't think that's accurate, but he seems very comfortable sitting by Jeff Van Gundy all the time, too.
That is true.
So, I don't think that's accurate, but yeah, in the world where Bob Huggins still keeps his job for throwing the F word around, I guess that's accurate. You could say something like that.
Yeah, that was a wild story. So he has apologized. We'll see if Mark Jackson still gets to vote for the MVP. All right, couple other notes here in the crap bag. I'm going to do something this weekend I've never, ever done. It hit me today. As a fan, I have never been to like a championship event. I have never been to the closest thing is I have been to one college bowl game when my team was playing in a bowl game as a fan. But I've never been to a championship event until tomorrow.
Okay.
The XFL championship game live in San Antonio. The Arlington Renegades and the DC Defenders. A little sad that that's my first one. No? My first pro championship game is this. Never been to a Super Bowl. I've never been to a World Series game. I've never been to an NBA Finals game. I've never been to any of that. Anything. I have never been. Closest thing, I've been to playoff games and championship games out at HEB Center with the Texas Stars. So that is pro sports, obviously. But at the top pro level, well, maybe XFL would compare.
Yeah, well,
actually, let me not insult the Texas
Stars. You throw this pro thing around just very easily.
I know.
This pro thing, top pro level.
Top pro levels, yes. So XFL championship game tomorrow. I'm sure y'all will be ready for the full report on that next week. That is, and everybody that's doing if you are headed down to San Antonio, be careful because there's going to be some rain tomorrow. Also, little time flying. It's official this weekend. Ole Miss girl is graduating from Ole Miss.
Oh,
She started listening to our station and the shows when she was like 10, 11 years old with her dad, and so the family's going to be there, and they are generations of Ole Miss folks, and she's headed back to Oxford this weekend, and they're having the graduation. So congrats to Ole Miss girl. Shout out to the Oxford crew. She will officially be a Rebel alumni as of this weekend.
Yeah, I know that's big for them.
Very
like
cool.
you said, the family's been Ole Miss people for a long time. They're kind of like Michael Orr and his family, Sandra Bullock and them.
There you go. That's right.
Yeah.
Because my family goes there.
Yeah.
You didn't ask me why I wanted to go there. And then staying in the SEC for a second, Zay, I thought this would be kind of an interesting thought process for you as a Texas fan and any Longhorn or Sooner fans listening. So there's a story out there that they might move the cocktail party to Home and Home for a couple years.
Nah, I'm not with that.
So
I'd be so mad if they moved Texas OU Home and Home.
And the reason would be if the Cotton Bowl needed like long-term renovations. Because what's happening in Jacksonville is that the Jacksonville Stadium is going to need like a 2-year renovation. Plus the Jags are moving at some point to like a newer stadium. So there's this time period where Jacksonville's not going to have a home. They may go to Gainesville and play at the Swamp, the Jags. But then for 2 years, they might have Georgia and Florida play once at the Swamp, once in Athens. And here's what's crazy, Zay. They did this in the 90s. I didn't know that. In 94 and 95, they played home games because there was renovations going on in Jacksonville. I guess that might have been if we go back, that's probably when they were building it for the Jags. And they just didn't have a place. So if the Cotton Bowl was going through a 2-year run like that, do you think Texas and Oklahoma would agree to a quick home and home? Or do you think you guys would find yourself a new neutral?
New neutral. Because it'd be like the Big 12 championship when they met at Jerry World. So just move it there. I don't think it'd be as difficult as the Florida-Georgia people are making it. Like, you can find a site.
By the way, Zay, if that ever happens, y'all know my number. If that ever happens to you. I think that's the easiest solution for those two.
Yeah, it's simple.
It's the fear you guys have had for years. I've heard Texas fans fear that. Like, oh, please don't move it to Jerry World for permanently. We want the fair and we want that feel of the Cotton Bowl. And I agree with that, but that's what they would do. It's amazing to me that there would be no other option. Like,
I would say call up FSU, Florida State, because I'm trying to see what's in the middle between Georgia and Gainesville. So Athens and Gainesville, Jacksonville made sense, but I'm looking along the line. Tallahassee, even though it's way in the west part of Florida, it's a big stadium.
You think Florida State would agree to that?
What?
You think they'd help? You think they'd help the Gators out like that? I don't think so.
How is that helping them?
Helping them? You're allowing them to play the game. What are you talking about?
How is that helping them?
You're
playing against Georgia. They last 2 national champs. They think they're going to get their head kicked in.
It would help because you'd get the gate. You could negotiate for the money. You can negotiate for gate money. Maybe that would be it. Or the Buck Stadium. Or, there's...
Nah, that's too far down. That's too much of a Florida advantage. Like Jacksonville, even though it's in Florida, it's so far up there by Georgia-ish that, it makes more sense. But going more south, nah. Because then you would say Miami.
Right. But
they have the really nice stadium. What's it called?
Hard Rock.
Hard Rock,
yeah. Right, but then in that case, you're making it too much Florida's way.
Yeah.
So their thought is maybe they go home and homes. That's a crazy thought that could happen in, I think it's 26 and 27. We could get home games for the cocktail party. Now, I've been to Athens once. It was incredible. I've not been to Gainesville. Wow. That just the thought of it, the fact that it happened in the 90s and I didn't realize it is crazy, but that would be amazing. Just like I know we've all thought about it. We have all thought about what if the Oklahoma fans came to Austin? What if Texas fans went to Norman for a football game? It would be a scene like no other. And I think in a weird way, it might be kind of crazy cool if you knew it was only going to be once and then you're done. Yeah. If you're going to be a quick little
get dangerous
home, and then go back to what you were doing.
I think it would be very dangerous.
Which one,
safety-wise?
Which one would be worse?
If OU fans came here?
Which are the two?
We went to OU.
Which one's worse?
Oh, I don't think I'd ever step foot in Norman.
I would advise that. I think that'd be a good idea.
I will ever step foot in Norman. Hey, how about this before we go? Specs Texter, this might be one of the GOAT statements that we've had on this show.
Yep.
Chad, you're an Aggie. We all know you've never been to a championship event.
How dare
you?
How dare you for that?
Oh, that's perfect.
The one championship event that I have been to is the one bowl game I've been to as a fan, and that was to watch my Aggies, quarterbacked by Mr. Manziel, tear Oklahoma apart. All right? That's the one I've been to. And they handed out a trophy. It was a Cotton Bowl championship trophy. So that was a championship event. How dare you?
What was the QB for OU that year?
Oh, God. That was in 2012.
Y'all let us know on the specs.
God, who was that? That's a great question. It was close for a while, and then the second half started with just Aggie touchdown after Aggie touchdown, and I was feeling a lot better.
Yeah, man. Ryan Swope, Mike Evans. Had some talent on that squad.
That was a hell of a team. Yeah, it was a hell of a team in 2012, man. If they could have just gotten off to a little better start, might have been fighting for even more at the end of the season there. But, yeah, that's the one time. One time I've been to an event as a fan where they were handing out a championship trophy at the end, and tomorrow's going to be the second one. That's kind of sad.
Landry Jones.
That's who it was. That's who it was. Thank you for that memory. 41-13, I think, was the final of that game. That was fantastic. Oh, my God. Watching your team beat Oklahoma in football is a good, good feeling. Longhorn fans know that one. What'd y'all just get to watch? 49-0? Holy mackerel.
What a great day.
That was a good day.
It was a great day.
Yeah, that's a good day. That had to be nice. I don't care what the rest of your season looks like. Even if the rest of it is weird, that's got to be a great day. All right, there's your crap bag. We do it every day about 12:45. Up next, let's dig into the NFL schedules, specifically the Cowboys. We'll go game by game. How many wins is Zay going to predict? How many wins am I going to predict? We will get to that. Plus, coming up in the flex segment, Cameron Parker is going to jump in and talk baseball. So much crazy excitement. Round Rock, Westlake both winning on walk-off extra inning plays. We'll get Cameron to talk about that, plus another offer for Adrian Wilson as we keep up with him. Second hour coming up here on The Horn. We got the album swap later on as well. Just keep it right here on The Horn. All right, let's go hour number 2 on a Friday. Hope you're having a great one as we head towards another weekend. It is Mother's Day weekend, Mother's Day on Sunday. Shout out to all those moms out there. We talked about new moms earlier in the show. We mentioned our moms on the show. Obviously, if you're married and you hopefully making it a special weekend for your wife who is a mother, but also to those of you who've lost your mother over the years. Maybe this is the first Mother's Day since you lost your mom. That's obviously a very emotional time. We certainly think of you today as well. Shout out to all those great moms, including the ones that maybe are no longer around. I still have my mom around. I treasure that all the time. And Zay has his mom, and we were talking about them earlier, but I know people that don't. My wife's stepmom recently died this year, and so my stepbrother and sister, it's their first one. First one without their mom. It's gonna be a rough Sunday for them, I know. So thinking of all those people today as well. It's a special thing, Zay. That relationship. Even if you have a decent relationship with your mom, I mean, it's a really special thing. So and here's the best part about Mother's Day. Don't let anybody convince you got to do anything truly like financially special on Mother's Day. Don't. Every good mom I've ever met, all they want is for you to tell them Happy Mother's Day.
Yeah.
And that's really all you have to do.
Yeah, just remember.
Just remember it. Tell them Happy Mother's Day. Tell them you think they're a great mom. Tell them you love them. And then if you take them out to eat, bonus. Flowers, bonus. Everything is a bonus for them. I'm actually enjoying this year because my parents are going out of town tomorrow on this trip for a week or so. So I don't have to worry about anything until she gets back.
Nice.
Yeah. Because I know her well enough to know if I sent her flowers now, it'd drive her crazy that she couldn't watch them for like a week. Because that's my mom. My mom will report on the full life of the flowers like it's a child. She'll call me every other day to tell me, well, the flowers are doing great. They're opening up. I mean,
the tulips, they finally bloomed.
Oh, yeah, the tulips. I forgot to tell you about the tulips, Chad. Yeah. So I'm going to wait till she gets back so we can have that full experience. All right. So hope everybody has a great Mother's Day on Sunday. A lot of good stuff coming in on the Specs text line, 337-3776. We talked about last night in the NBA, a close win for Boston, staying alive, showing that good side of the Celtics. Eventually, Jason Tatum went crazy enough and got it done. And then Denver just smashed Phoenix and Kevin Durant and Devin Booker out of the playoffs. The Suns have a lot of questions to answer, and they've got that one to deal with. Denver, 54% from the floor and 62 in the paint.
I mean, Nikola Jokic made that series look so easy. He did anything he wanted.
Yeah, he did.
The whole entire time. No matter if they double-teamed him, have him in single coverage with Ayton, Landale, Bismack, Biyombo, didn't matter. He dominated every matchup, and then the other guys came along with him. That's why they're waiting for the Warriors-Lakers.
Have you ever seen the movie Bull Durham?
Yeah.
When I look at that series, in a way, I'm the manager thinking, how the heck did we ever get to? For Phoenix, like, how did they win 2 games in that series? Because you're right. By the end of it, they were clearly not the better team. So we've talked NBA. We got tonight. What a night in the NBA it's going to be. South Beach, Miami trying to finish that series, and the Lakers at home trying to finish their series. The Anthony Davis story, the LeBron James ankle story. We will definitely be talking about that. But we have also hit some NFL schedules. And Zay, you decided you wanted to go game by game through the Cowboys schedule?
Game by game. See where we end up.
Just trying to torture me and all the Cowboys fans. Okay, I understand. No, it won't be torture this year. I don't think it'll be torture. Cowboys, though, I think I saw they have the 5th toughest schedule. Eagles are on top of the list. Cowboys have like the 5th toughest if you go just by the percentages there. So it is what a lot of us thought it would be. Cowboys fans, you knew. What's the first game of the year going to be? Say it with me. Giants. Yeah, that was my first guess yesterday when somebody walked up to me. I said, it's Giants and then I came up with other stuff. So at the Giants is the very first game of the year. I know it's on the road, Zay. What do you think? You giving that a win?
Yeah, I mean, division matchups are always tough. We saw what the Giants did last year, making a very surprising appearance to the playoffs. Brian Daboll in his first season there did a great job just kind of turning the whole morale around up there. They got rid of Kadarius Toney and stuff, and even though that might have been a bad look, they seem to be cool with it. So they picked up Jalen Hyatt in the draft. I think he's going to help their wide receiver core, which is one of the worst in the NFL. And Daniel Jones, is he going to take another leap to what we saw last year? Him and Brian Daboll had a very good chemistry with what they wanted to do and how they wanted to attack teams, where Daniel Jones was using his legs a lot and his arm looked a lot better than what we've seen in recent years. Saquon, he finally looked healthy. So it being a division matchup, yeah, it's always going to be tough, but the Cowboys, with what their roster has been, all the moves, Dak Prescott coming into revenge season, pissed off of what he did last year. Yeah, Cowboys dub right off the bat.
All right, like that dub. Somebody reminding us, over-under for the Cowboys from Vegas is 9.5. That's a brilliant over-under. I'd make it 10.5, by the way. I might push it to 10.5 if I'm Vegas, because I think that might be there. But some people, I think 9.5 is perfect for Texas for the Longhorn football season, and the Cowboys I think should be 10.5. But we'll get to that one. Okay, so I'll go win there as well. Second game of the year is the Jets at home. Aaron Rodgers is in a different uniform, but he's still Aaron Rodgers. I'll say that's a loss for the Cowboys.
Really?
Yeah.
Man, I'm banking on Dak being in Dallas for a long time and having the chemistry with his guys, and Aaron Rodgers still trying to figure things out. As good as he is, we've never seen him out of his element before. He's always been in Green Bay. He's always had that same drive every morning, the same routine. Now he has to have a new routine, and I don't know what their week 1 schedule is, the New York Jets, but probably a tough matchup. Probably a tough division matchup.
Remember, it's that Buffalo Monday Nighter.
Yeah, tough division matchup.
Yeah.
So talk about teams going 0-2. That might be a team that I could see going 0-2. The New York Jets. Everything they got. We know Sauce Gardner's nice. We know Garrett Wilson's nice with it, the Lake Travis alum. But Aaron Rodgers, as good as he is, he's still got to get acclimated to the rhythm with everybody. That's going to be tough facing two teams that just came off playoff runs in Buffalo and Dallas. Yeah, I think the Jets are going to lose that game. I got Dallas 2-0.
All right. Already got 2 wins. All right, the third game is at Arizona. I like that as a win for the Cowboys. Cowboys, Dak over Kyler Murray. What do you think?
I don't even think Kyler going to be available. Remember, he's coming off that ACL injury.
Oh, you're right. Yeah. No, that's got to be a win, right? Cowboys got to go win that game.
Colt? Colt got re-signed.
Could be.
Oh.
I think. Maybe. Yeah.
Damn, Colt.
No, that's one where Colt or whoever it is, Cowboys defense should be good there.
Yeah.
Cowboys defense needs to go get whoever that is. New England at home. I'll say Cowboys win that one.
This is a trap game. This is a trap game because they're 3-0. They're feeling themselves. Everybody's talking about them. And, yeah, man, New England coming in. It's going to be interesting seeing Bill O'Brien there as the offensive coordinator with all that crap that Mac Jones went through last year with the defensive coordinators running the offensive show. Will we see a better Mac Jones? I think we will. I'm going to say trap game L.
Okay.
I got a loss.
All right, so you got him at 3. So we both got him at 3-1.
I know I'm reaching, y'all. I know I'm reaching.
We both got him at 3-1, just a different way through 4 games. At San Francisco, Sunday, October 8th. Out of respect for Shanahan, I'm saying that's a loss for the Cowboys.
I'm going to take that win. Kind of like what the Jets are going through. Brock Purdy coming off of that injury. Right. Where will he be? What's the quarterback story there?
Yeah.
Like if it's whoever it is, you got to be comfortable with Dak Prescott being better that day. I know he wasn't in the playoffs, but I think Dak's going to be better this year, especially coming into this game.
Okay.
They got a lot of weird questions. What are we going to do with Trey Lance, Sam Darnold, Brock Purdy? I'm going to give the Cowboys the dub, especially coming off the loss in my book to the Patriots. They're going to be angry and pissed off.
All right. I hope you're right. All right. So that 6th game is at the Chargers on a Monday night. That one's interesting. That's a really interesting game, man. I would love. My gut tells me to just push forward as a Cowboys fan and say they're getting that win. So, yeah, I'll give them a win. I'm gonna go win. I'm going to go 4-2 at this point.
That's the Kellen Moore game. We know that he's going to want to put up serious numbers on that Dan Quinn defense.
Good Lord, nobody's running the ball in that game.
No.
There's going to be 100 passes in that game.
Yeah. And who knows what's going to happen with their situation with Austin Eckler. Are they going to resign him or are they just going to move on? Who knows? Justin Herbert, he's absolutely incredible. Gosh, I'm gonna pick Cowboys.
I
don't feel good about it, but I'm gonna pick them.
There you go. All right, bye week follows that, and then the Cowboys go into. So the Cowboys will go 6 games, take the break, and then have the other 11 games in a row, including all the Thanksgiving scheduling stuff. So here we go.
Hey, hold on, before we go on, you like that bye at that spot?
No, I'd rather have it a little later.
Yeah,
I like the midway bye. I don't want the 6 and 11. I'd rather have it be truly 8 and 9 or 9 and 8.
Yeah, week 7 bye.
Little early.
Little early.
I'd like it a little bit later than that. Give me like 3 more games and then take that bye between New York and Carolina. But like I told you, I do like the fact that the Cowboys get a little bit of time off around Eagles games here
right
coming up.
The Thursday leading into the Sunday.
Right, they get a little bit of that. All right, so the next wave starts with the Rams game. Rams at home. I got to give the Cowboys a win there.
Yeah, that's a dub.
Yeah, okay. Then it's at Philly, and I think I misspoke earlier. I must have been looking at somebody else's schedule. So the Cowboys don't have a bye going into the first Philly game. It's the second one that I was thinking of. All right, so Sunday at Philly. Out of respect, I got to call that a loss.
Yep, that's a loss.
Yeah. New York at home. Giants at home. I'll say they win because they beat the Giants a lot. Like 15 out of the last 16. Dax won the last, whatever it is, 10 or so. I'm going to say they sweep New York.
Same.
Okay. So that's got them there at 5-3. At Carolina. New quarterback, new situation there. That needs to be a win, doesn't it?
Yeah, that's a dub.
Yeah, okay. Washington at home.
Dub.
Needs to be a win there. Yep, I agree. Seattle at home. That could be a slip on a Thursday. Okay, so Washington's Thanksgiving. Then you come back around for the other Thursday nighter against Seattle. I'll say that could be a slip. I'll say that could be a loss right there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm going to give the Cowboys that dub.
Okay.
I'm going to give them that dub.
I hope you're right. All right, so Philly at home. This will be one, depending on what kind of Cowboy fan you are, how you want to do this one. Ooh, Philly at home, Sunday night game. I'll take Philly.
I'm going to take the boys.
Okay.
Because I think this is the point where Philly starts to be affected by their tough schedule.
All right, hope you're right there. Yeah, that's true. It is a really, really tough schedule for Philadelphia. That's true. Let me just.
There we go. Believe, Chad.
Yeah,
believe.
no, you're right.
Don't let that PTSD take over. Believe.
Okay. All right. I'm gonna do it. We're going winning that one. Then at Buffalo, at Miami, back to back. I got to think that Buffalo game's a loss.
Yeah.
Especially the way the weather could be. I'm worried about that. December 17th in Buffalo.
It's gonna be frigid cold.
I'm gonna say loss there, and then, oof.
Nah, Dolphins, man, to show me you can last, bruh. I got Cowboys.
Okay, yeah, win in Miami.
A new helmet and all. Show me you can last.
I will agree with you there. Last 2 games are Detroit at home and at Washington. Detroit at home, that needs to be a win. If you are truly better this year, or if you've taken steps 1 click away, you need to beat Detroit at home.
I'm with that.
Yeah, so I'll say that's a win, and then at Washington, you know what? By then, if you're the team you're supposed to be, that's a win, man. I got 12. I'm at 12.
I got them 14-3.
Oh my God, 14! 14?
No way.
Come on, Zay.
Hold on. This is like when you take a test and you about to go turn it into the teacher. You go, wait. And you see people like running fast. And say, wait. Hold on. Let me go change some stuff. Let me go make sure. Or the teacher looks at you and like looks at the paper and she says, you want to go double check it, son? You want to make sure double check it.
Hold on, I didn't put my name on Isaiah Collier. I did not put my name on that one. I got 12-5. 12-5. So earlier, when Cameron and I were talking, and he was asking me over under on the 9.5, I went over immediately because I was thinking I was going to have him at about 11. But in this version, I had 12 because I went gutsy on a split with Philly. If you don't split with Philly and you lost both of those, that'd get them at 11. But I'll say they win the home game.
Yo, people probably thinking I got this Johnny Walker Blue in my Kool-Aid, dog.
Look at you.
Something's going crazy.
Zay, now I wish we had drafted Bijan because you clearly could be a Cowboys fan.
I'm definitely not a fan. I will support them if they win. When the Cowboys win, the NFL's a lot more fun. But, yo, a lot of it has to do with I think Dak Prescott's going to come in with some extra motivation of how last season went We saw what Steven and Jerry has done in the offseason by getting guys like Stephon Gilmore and Brandon Cooks. We know that there's a lot of question marks with the running back room, but I still believe that Malik Davis could be a lot better than what people think. Tony Pollard gets back. He's going to be good. Ronald Jones, get him something. This 14 ain't too crazy. Somebody got to win. Somebody got to be in first place.
Let's hit a few texts before the break here. Somebody says, y'all forgetting EB coaching for the Commanders. They're going to score with Scary Terry and Dotson. Don't sleep on them. Somebody says, too much, homeboy. Another text says, y'all ain't beating Detroit. And another one says, Zay got that blue Kool-Aid. Somebody said, what week does Dak get injured? Okay, now that's just rude. We're trying to have a fun discussion in May, and you're trying to be that.
Does he get hurt every year? I know the foot injury being turned backwards, there was that, but besides the thumb last year, I mean, I don't think Dak's injury prone like that. The thumb could happen to any QB.
Of your New England prediction, somebody says, Zay, bruh, we ain't losing to babyface Mac.
Yo. Mac's a Sark guy.
If the beginning goes like you're thinking it could, that really could be a trap game. Again, I think the trap is kind of waiting there with the Rodgers game. I think they could get started with a team they know well, beat the Giants, but then coming back with the Jets. And I agree it could take him a little while, but I think especially if Buffalo beats the Jets in week 1, Jets are at home for that one. So they will be a lot of pressure, the Monday night thing. If Buffalo beats them, then there's that little edge to Rodgers and that team the next week. And I just think it's going to be one of those where the Cowboys might have a little lull. And I'll admit, man, as a Cowboys fan, I rarely think Aaron Rodgers' teams are going to get beat by the Cowboys. It's kind of like the Brady thing, where Brady never lost to him. I don't know if it's never, but Aaron Rodgers hadn't lost much to the Dallas Cowboys. So it's that feeling, too, that I have. That's where I have I have some PTSD when it comes to Rodgers against my Cowboys, because I've watched him carve them up.
But Brady arguably had 2 Hall of Fame-ish receivers with him, Mike Evans and Antonio Brown. I love Garrett Wilson, but he ain't that yet.
No,
so
you're right.
I think that's a little bit different in what Brady had and what Aaron Rodgers is dealing with. I think still Aaron Rodgers at this age, he's going to have to throw guys open still that are still, a little bit unproven. And it's going to take him just a little bit. As great as he is, the 4 MVPs, the Super Bowl championships, one of the greatest arms we've ever seen, it's still the NFL. And, one of the tough things Dan Quinn might have to work with is the lack of film. You're just going to be crunching all numbers from the Bills. That's it. That's all you're going to see.
Right.
So coming in to New Jersey at MetLife, they could throw something completely at you that you didn't even see week 1 because that's all the film you're going to have. So that's going to be going against the Cowboys. But, yeah, man, I just think this squad, that roster, how deep it is, how good Steven and Jerry have done, which can't say that often.
Yeah.
Can't say that the offseason moves they made were championship moves. And being where they were last year, they are just a click away.
Here's the other thing to remember. If both those teams come out of camp healthy, this is a week 2 matchup, that Cowboys defense and that Jets defense getting together, what's the number to win that game? If I give you 20, does it win for sure? Because both those defenses, if they're healthy, pretty damn good.
Yo,
Jets building some talent on defense.
Sauce Gardner versus CeeDee Lamb.
Oh, that could be fun.
That's a movie.
Yeah,
that's like Tarantino type stuff. That's a movie.
That is fun waiting to happen. You're right, especially for those third-party fans that don't care about either team. All right, there you go. Give us your thoughts on NFL schedule stuff. We'll go through some others as we roll through. Up next, our Flex segment. Cameron Parker going to jump in and talk a little high school baseball. Plus, another offer on that list for Adrian Wilson. All you big dog schools better start paying attention. This is The Horn. All right, this is Chad. Let's talk Apple Leasing, the easiest and safest way to get a new car. They're going to take all the hassle away for you. They're going to find all those great dealer discounts without you having to run all over town and all over the area. There's so many different, things out there, different rebates, different deals and sales. And to get out there and figure out every one of them, it's going to take you forever. That's why you want to have Apple Leasing save you time. They'll save you money because they're going to go out and find the best deals for you on a new car. Maybe they'll give you some options that are pre-owned as well. That's what I ended up with. I ended up one that was new for me. It was a 2019, so I made the step up there. It ended up not being an absolutely new car, but they found one for me with less miles and found that situation. Said, hey, we could go here. And I thought, yeah, that makes sense. You'll be paying for the part of the car that you're using. That's another part that really makes sense with the leases that they have set up. So call them at 346-9977. Let them explain how their leasing system works. You might be like me, where you just weren't familiar with leasing, but they will be glad to talk you through it, let you know just how easy it is to get in that car, truck, SUV, whatever you're looking for. They will get you into any make, any model. They've been doing it for folks all the way back to the mid-'80s. Call 346-9977, 346-9977, or go to appleleasing.com.
Chad and Zay.
I should have known Zay would stay with the theme long enough to play a song that included Mr. T. Like that, I would definitely have gone that far too. That's fantastic. All right. Treat Your Mother Right? That's literally the name? Wow. This is...
Cam, what you know about this?
Is this a real thing?
Yeah.
Mr. T had an album back in the day?
I don't know if he had an album.
Okay.
But
I got no words.
He had a hit?
For the very first time, as I'm writing down the songs Zay is playing, I'm writing Mr. T. Is it called Just Treat Her Right?
Treat Her Right. Yeah.
Okay. Treat Her Right, Mr. T. You know, this is probably during the heyday of the A-Team because he got a cartoon at one point. He obviously had the Rocky movie, one of the best villains ever in a sports movie, and with the Clubber Lang run, not to mention the WrestleMania appearances. So I can imagine during that time somebody said, let's put him in a studio, see what happens.
I think actually Kanye is going to sample this on Donda too, right?
I hope he does.
Yes.
That'd be genius.
That would be brilliant.
Yo, Mr. T had his own cereal.
Yeah, he did.
Come on,
It was
man.
pretty good, too.
It was good?
It was basically T-shaped Captain Crunch, but it still was pretty damn good. I didn't care. I'd take it. I was a Mr. T guy back in the day. Mr. T, Boys to Men, Fountains of Wayne, some mama songs for you today as Mother's Day is on the way on Sunday. So we'll give a shout out to all the moms out there. All right, let's get you a flex segment. A lot of baseball excitement in the area, plus one more offer for that guy we've been telling you about.
Flex ATX for the best high school sports coverage. Listen to the Horn and go to FLXATX.com. Flex 30 is brought to you by Brain Vault. Brain Vault is a revolutionary and patented mouthguard that has been proven to help reduce the risk of concussion. Visit BrainVault.com and join the movement.
All right, by the time he is done at Weiss, if the biggest of big dog schools don't know who Adrian Wilson is, it ain't going to be our fault. We're telling him, Zay. We're letting him know. Class of 25, Adrian Wilson, 6'2", 176. His Twitter page says he runs a 4.56 40 and has a 10.2 broad jump. All right? He just got an offer from Purdue.
Yeah.
It adds to the list. The list now includes Baylor, Houston, K-State, Oklahoma, Ole Miss, Oregon, Texas Tech, Utah, and UTSA. So, just letting everybody know.
Yeah, if he goes on that Purdue trip, obviously the person to show him around would be Hudson Card, bringing in a Central Texas
There you
kid.
go.
Hudson Card being there, most likely will be the starter if you're following Purdue's social media pages. He gets a lot of attention, so I'm expecting him to be the starter come day one.
Hadn't even thought about that. That would be the Lake Travis product, showing the Weiss guy around.
That's right.
Okay, there you go. Best of luck to Adrian Wilson and that Weiss team, and obviously best of luck to Adrian as the offer list continues to grow as he gets closer to that big decision. But he's still got a couple years left at Weiss. The Wolves are going to be interesting to follow this year. All right, we got our man Cameron Parker here in studio. Of course, you hear Cameron on Light the Tower each and every day. You also hear him on the Wednesday Night Flex show.
Yeah, before we start, Cameron, congratulations for making second team all defense. Terrific. Absolutely amazing. It was just the work has paid off. The work has paid off.
Once again, he is not Alex Caruso.
Oh man, my fault.
He's not Alex Caruso. I keep telling you that.
Well, my doppelganger also made it too in Draymond Green, so we're both celebrating.
That's it. The only argument I would have there is, did Rick Carlisle get any love at Coach?
No awards.
No
Probably
awards.
on the brink of getting fired, to be honest.
All right, that's not good then. All right, so Cameron, good to have you in studio. I know you're prepping for this game tonight, but I wanted to just have you let everybody know some of the incredible baseball that was going on last night. You called the Round Rock game. It's Round Rock and Reagan in this series.
Yeah.
Reagan's badass.
Yep.
Right? They're not a pushover by any stretch, and Round Rock barely got it done last night, and you had to call for a while.
Yeah, area round playoff matchup, and for those that missed the flex segment early in the show, Chad, thanks for coming on Light the Tower, by the way. Two top 10 teams in the state in the 6A region. Round Rock's number 8, Reagan's number 9 in some polls, and it's game one yesterday at Concordia University, went 11 innings. So about 4 hours of broadcast time. And Westlake and Brandeis, who's also in the same region, that went 12 innings. And Westlake won their game. Round Rock won this game. Their last two playoff games for the Dragons have gone the extra innings. They played Buda Johnson, a great program under Coach Durham, their first year in 6A. That went to 9 innings. Hudson Ellis, the shortstop at Round Rock, he's a junior, Dallas Baptist University commit, hit the 2-run go-ahead double in the 9th inning or single to put Round Rock up 2-1. And then the same thing happened last night in the 5th inning, a part of a 6-run 6th inning that looked like Round Rock was finally going to just hold on. He hit a 2-run double that put the Dragons in front, but Reagan came back. A 3-run bomb from Brennan Greer made it 6-6. And then, was it 4 innings later? We get to the 7th, or they get to the 11th, excuse me. Reagan puts up 1 run. Round Rock comes back, adds 2 more. They walk it off. 1 of 4 walk-offs last night, guys, and then high school baseball. So I know it was just game 1. We still have like a month of high school baseball to go.
That's incredible. So they did. It was a walk-off for Round Rock. You said earlier, walk-off like fielder's choice?
Yeah, fielder's choice. Bases loaded, 1 out. Ren Andrewartha hit a ground ball the 2nd. They tried to go for the double play because they had to in order to send it to at least the 12th inning. But Ren Andrewartha dove for first base, an incredible play. Round Rock one throw not in time.
And the
That's
other
what
one,
I'm talking about.
And the other one, Zay, picture this one. The Westlake win, a solo shot walk-off in extras. Now, I know it's just game 1 of the series and all that, but just imagine being a high school kid and you get to take that trip around the bases. They were at home too, right?
Yeah, Isaac Beeler.
Oh, my God.
Oh, yeah, Coach, I ain't going to be at school today.
Can you imagine?
Sorry.
Right?
Exactly.
Exactly. Gonna miss at least first and second period
I'm
today.
riding this high.
That's incredible. Okay, so Round Rock, Westlake both get walk-off wins. And then Georgetown and Taylor did the same thing. Is that right? Everybody walking off?
Literally. Georgetown defending champs last year, guys, in 5A. Coach Vieira, they played A&M Consolidated, and they won 2-1 in a 7th inning walk-off. I think Brady Peters had a double down the line that scored the game-winning run. So the Eagles got a walk-off. The Taylor Ducks.
How about that?
One of the best, I think, uniform combinations in the Centex area is Taylor Ducks. I like the Ducks. I'm a big Oregon uniform
Yeah, aren't they
guy.
like Oregon colors?
Yeah.
Yeah.
They don't have these 7,000 uniforms. They don't have a new uniform every day because they're a high school program. They don't have Phil Knight.
Phil doesn't
coming
live in Taylor.
Yeah.
No. Yeah, right. No, I always like pulling for the Ducks out there too. That's kind of out my way, not too far from Elgin. But yeah, a lot of good high school baseball. So again, if Round Rock and Westlake each get another win, they play each other in the next round. Correct?
How about that? Number 3 versus possibly number 8, or number 3 versus number 9. And then you have San Antonio Johnson, Zay, who they played your Bowie Bulldogs last night. And Bowie, they hung tough. San Antonio Johnson, they're a really good team, a 2-0 loss, but got to give a big shout-out to, on the mound for Bowie last night, I want to make sure I get his name right, Gonzalez. He went 6 innings against San Antonio Johnson, who they got a bunch of guys who can hit.
Now, Gonzalez is the guy that gave him a complete game last week, I think. A complete game shutout.
Tough.
Yeah, he's been
he's good.
Yeah, Jonathan Gonzalez, he's been pitching his butt off. When you lose 2-0, I mean that's actually really good for considering how good San Antonio Johnson is. A lot of people think they're gonna win state, but they went up against Derek Maples, who pitched a complete game for I think they're the Sharks, Johnson Sharks.
Oh, is that right?
Correct?
Yeah,
I'm not sure.
Yeah, you can't put all that on Gonzalez. You got to find some runs there, Bowie.
So Cam, now after Round Rock won, now they have to go to San Antonio.
Yeah. So game 2 tonight, 7:00. Make sure I get this right. So they're playing at Northeast Sports Park, and then Westlake's playing at Northside ISD. I'm going to have to call Craig Way for directions because I don't know where I'm going.
And ironically, you go south to get to both of them.
Yeah. So I guess they're north San Antonio, but south from Austin. So
yeah,
I'm just going to look for the baseball field.
Just look for the lights, and they'll be there. It'll be great. And then you mentioned the coach at Georgetown this week on Wednesday Night Flex. Y'all talked to the coach from Georgetown, and you also had Braden Buchanan. Did he come in studio with you guys?
He did. And he was there last time, the Round Rock game. Excellent. What a kid. What a great guy.
He's awesome, yeah.
That season for Vandergrift last year, football-wise, the Katy game, I told Braden, that's one of the best quarterback performances I've seen in high school. I think he broke the Vandergrift passing record, 400 yards. He threw the ball 36 times in that huge upset over a Katy program that had Seth Davis, who broke the I don't know if it was the Texas high school rushing record. I know it was the Katy rushing record.
Yeah, he broke a crazy record.
Yeah, he made Jonathan Gray look, I don't even know how to describe it. What he did at Katy was incredible, but Buchanan had a great football season. He's playing baseball at Baylor. Had the shoulder injury against DeSoto in the state championship game. He played through it, but that hurt his baseball season. He came back. He played about the last couple weeks of district season, but he's playing at Baylor next year. Had a chance to go to Texas, but likes the Baylor program.
He's still finishing out at Vandegrift, though, right?
Well, he's now done
Or
because
is
he's
he?
a senior.
Right.
So in Vandegrift's.
Is he just graduating right now, though?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
And so he'll be heading to Baylor in the fall.
He'll head into Baylor in fall.
Man, and he's a catcher, correct?
Pitcher.
Oh, he's a pitcher?
Yes.
Oh,
I
my
thought he was
bad.
a catcher.
Is he a catcher?
Yeah.
Oh, he's a
thought he
catcher.
was.
Yes. Quarterback, and he's a catcher.
And
Okay.
catcher in
Sorry.
baseball.
Yeah.
Okay, all
Sorry.
right. That's what that's what I thought.
I think he does pitch a little bit, but mostly catcher.
Gotcha. Okay. So if you want to go check that show out at FLXATX on your social media, flexatx.com. And Cameron's going to be calling that Round Rock game tonight. So definitely check out Light the Tower on Monday, recapping all of that. Always good to see you. Be careful driving. And one other quick question. Have you heard the A Tribe Called Quest and Metallica albums that we are talking about today?
The Tribe Called Quest album I have, Metallica have not.
So close. All right. Just checking. You like the
How do you
Tribe
feel
Called
about
Quest album?
Tribe? Yeah.
Yeah, probably one of my favorite rap groups, I think, of all time.
Oh God, so good.
Okay.
Smart man, Cam.
All right.
Question for Zay.
Yes.
Where does Chris Paul end up next year?
I've been seeing the Lakers.
Oh.
Vegas is saying Lakers, which if I'm LA, hell no.
And guess what? David Stern ain't alive to veto it now, baby.
That was slimy. That was. Let's put him and Kobe together. This way they could fight the whole year.
Actually, there's an idea out there you guys have not thought about.
Uh-oh.
Head coach in Toronto.
Oh, good.
Ooh.
They're willing to talk to anybody. So
Yeah, Chris Paul needs
we're
to
just
retire.
talking to random guys who've played.
He needs to retire. I don't try to go Tony Parker and go to Charlotte. Just retire. Like, it's over. Your career's over. You're not going to get the ring. It's okay.
Wow.
Stockton didn't get it. It's fine. Be one of those ones.
You
it's
should
fine.
You should not be the one to give his speech at the Hall of Fame. Just give it up, man. Give it up.
Yeah, he had such a bad career, Chad. What a bad career Chris Paul had. What a bust coming out of Wake Forest.
He'd be a borderline Hall of Famer, right? They're going to have to figure out whether he's...
it's tough to get him in.
Just
If Kyle Lowry and Chris Paul's there, Kyle Lowry might get the upper hand.
A little shaky. Cameron, always good to see you, man.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate
Safe
it.
travels.
Thanks, Cam.
Hope the rain stays away so you can get those baseball series in. That is Cameron Parker, and that is the Flex segment. We do it every day at 1:30. Coming up, where are we at in society with Zay? And then at 2 o'clock, we'll get into that album swap discussion. A Tribe Called Quest and Metallica. We're hitting both of the second albums for these two. Coming up right here on The Horn.
Chad and Zay.
Oh, goodness. Every once in a while, Zay will go on a theme, and I kind of enjoy it when he does. Going on the Mother's Day theme today. All right. She gets it from her mama. Yes?
Yeah.
And I should know this?
No.
No. All right, who is it?
Juvenile.
Oh, okay. Juvenile, has he been connected to somebody
Yeah.
famous?
Yeah.
Kardashian or somebody?
No, not like that. Like
No.
Manny Fresh, part of the Cash Money crew. Him and Lil Wayne were in the same group together.
Gotcha. Okay.
So we play them
Okay.
a lot.
Yeah. I feel like you might have played this one before on a non-Mother's Day theme. It's a good song. I like it.
A lot of Manny Fresh beats sound the same. So.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Yeah.
It's good, though. Juvenile, Mr. T, who apparently had a song about his mother back in the day. We didn't realize it. Zay did, though. Boys to Men and Fountains of Wayne. Yes, if you haven't seen the Stacy's Mom video lately, please Google that one. Rachel Hunter would be glad for you to do that. All right, so Chad and Zay with you on this Friday. We've got the album swap discussion coming up, A Tribe Called Quest and Metallica coming up today. Lots of good texts rolling in. We were talking NFL schedules earlier. Somebody said, Chad, I have Dallas 12-5 or 13-4. They beat the Jets and beat Detroit. Detroit Homer's drinking his own blue Kool-Aid. Those losses are Philly, Buffalo, Chargers, and possibly the Giants. Okay. All right. We've been talking about those NFL schedules that came out last night, and we will continue to do that. Also, NBA tonight, Lakers and Miami trying to finish those series. The Anthony Davis stuff, how hurt is LeBron? Is it just a little bit of something in the game, or was that actually a pretty important moment when he kind of tweaked up that right ankle? We'll continue to talk about all that stuff. Also coming up at 2:30, we're going to get into a little rugby talk because the Premier Rugby Sevens is getting started this year, and they're going to have an event out at Q2 in June that will let you know about the Texas team as a part of the Premier Rugby Sevens. You can go to pr7s.com for more info. We're going to talk to the founder and CEO, Owen, coming up. I'm going to get this last name figured out. Scannell. I'm going to go with Scannell until he tells me different.
Yeah.
We'll go with that.
Yeah, you can botch that.
Yeah, we'll talk to. Oh, trust me, I've botched far more complicated names than that one. But we'll talk to Owen at 2:30. Get his thoughts on the rugby there, and if you've been to Q2 for Austin FC, you might want to consider the party that they'll be bringing to Q2 there. It's kind of an interesting league. Each team has a men's and women's team, so we'll get into that with Owen coming up at 2:30. Right now, where are we at in society? Let's see what Zay wants to get into.
Where are we at in society today?
All right, Zay, do I need to go to Twitter today, or what are we doing?
Yeah, go to Twitter. This
All right.
is a crazy story. So one of the greatest athletes of all time is dealing with some very odd issues.
Okay.
Former NFL and MLB star Bo Jackson says he's been suffering from hiccups for a year.
Oh, my God.
And will have to go through a medical procedure to help him get through it by the end of this week.
Wow, I hope that works.
Yeah, me too. Bo Jackson, he was supposed to be at an event speaking, but he had to cancel it due to his hiccup problem.
Oh, my God.
He told somebody, I was there at the Thomas ceremony because I wasn't there at the Thomas ceremony because I'm dealing with hiccups. I've had hiccups since last July.
Oh,
I'm getting a medical procedure done the end of the week, I think, to try to remedy it. I've been busy sitting at the doctor's poking me, shining light down my throat, probing me in every way just to find out why I got the hiccups. That's the only reason why I wasn't there. He goes on to say, I have done everything. Scare me, hang upside down, drink water, smell the ass of a porcupine. I don't know about that, Bo, but whatever. You're desperate, so try anything.
Man.
Yeah, so one of the greatest, dealing with hiccups.
That's a weird thing, though. If you had the hiccups and the porcupine thing cured it, that's what you thought of? Like, why would you think?
Yeah,
to do that?
I don't know who told
that's
them
weird.
that.
Yeah, that is so rough because that's what everybody does when you encounter someone with hiccups. You give them your remedy, your family's remedy, the remedy that you use.
What you always do?
If he's, my grandmother was a 9 slow swallows of water, and for some reason the 9, counting it in your head and not going to 10, somehow that reset things. And if you do the slow swallows, that always worked for me.
Okay.
What about you?
My mom, which, good grief, Mom, I can't believe you threw this at me. Cough drops.
Really?
Yeah, I guess it was like
I've never heard of that.
I guess it was like a knockoff Robitussin, because for black folks, Robitussin, you break your leg, all you throw some tussin on there, and you're healed without even getting surgery in old school black folks' mind. So it was kind of like that. I don't know if she got that for my grandma or Gramps, my grandpa or something, but it was like cough drop was take a cough drop if I have the hiccups or if the water wasn't working.
Maybe the sort of constant like swallowing and stuff that you'll do with a cough drop, maybe that sort of resets the diaphragm, or I don't know. I've never heard of that one.
Now I've heard the drink water, go lay upside down and swallow.
Yeah, I've never had to go to the upside down part, spoonfuls of sugar. There's a lot of different things people use out there. But to me, and getting scared sometimes can happen, but you can't count on that one every time. But for me, just the slow, long, make them as long as you can. Just long, slow, 9 swallows of water. That's the one that always works for me.
And it still works.
Yep, still works. Just breathe through your nose and 9 slow swallows of water. And there's something about it for me that if I do it nice and slow, and then I'm again counting not to 10. Making yourself stop before 10. There's something about it that kind of works. I feel awful for Bo. He's one of the best athletes I've ever seen in my life. The idea that would happen to someone like Bo is crazy.
Right?
I've never heard of it, on any series. I've never heard of it with a famous person. I'm sure.
I've never heard of it, period.
I'm assuming random people this could happen to, but I had not ever heard of you can have hiccups for a year. I've never heard of that.
Like, how do you get hiccups? Like, I never did a study on that or looked into it. I thought it just came and went like a yawn.
I think it's got something to do with the diaphragm. I think it's some kind of a diaphragm thing, and people, a doctor could tell you exactly what it is, and it kind of needs to be reset. But I don't know. In this case, I'm sure there's something extreme. If he's going to all these doctors and they can't figure it out.
Yeah, you're Bo Jackson. You can get the best doctors in the world.
That's embarrassing, dude. If you're that doctor and you go home and you're talking to your buddies and you have your meeting and you go to your reunion and stuff, it's like, man, I couldn't deal with this. What are you talking about? Well, Bo Jackson came to see me. Bo Jackson? Yeah. I couldn't help him. Why? We had the hiccups. What? He had the hiccups. And then they have to have that discussion. Have y'all ever had this? Somebody had hiccups for a year? Nope. I have no idea what you're talking about. Like, who deals with that?
Yo, you know how annoyed I would be? Since July, we're in May now.
Right.
It's a smooth 10 months.
And we're going to say, right.
Like, you're just randomly having the conversation. Yeah, my day is good. Look at the weather. My golf game. Like, just like that, just all the time.
Because eventually you're just going to think Bo's joking on you.
Yeah.
Right? You're going to think he's messing with you. So, but then you try to eat. You're trying to drink. You're telling me he's eating all the stuff he's normally eating. He drinks whatever he's doing. And he's still hiccuping the whole time. Does he do it in his sleep? We'd have to add, I don't know if Bo's currently married or girlfriend, or is there somebody in bed with Bo every night? Like, is Bo, like, if you have that, is he hiccuping at night? Like in the middle of a snore?
Yeah, I hope not.
Oh, that's brutal. That is brutal. Best of Bo Jackson. Best of luck with that procedure.
I've never heard of that before.
I understand a lot of people are going to read that story and immediately go into some kind of joke or whatever, but that is so not funny to me, and I just hope he gets better. I just hope he figures it out. The only funny part of that to me is if some rando walks up to Bo after all these months and says, what you should do is take a spoonful of sugar, and Bo punching him in the face. That's funny to me.
Oh, he knocked that dude out.
You realize how many idiots have talked to him in these last 7-8 months? Like, really, you think I didn't go to the doctor? You think I didn't think of that?
Oh, he must be losing his mind.
Oh, drink water. Oh, I didn't think of that. Oh, hold my breath. Oh, I didn't think of that.
Get some salt water.
That's the thing.
Gargle.
If I'm not around water, then holding your breath for a certain amount of time has worked for me too. Just try to hold your breath for a decent amount of time. Plug the nose and hold the breath. I used to do that. Wow, that is crazy. Bo Jackson has been hiccuping. I think that's how you say that. Has had the hiccups since July.
Yeah, he didn't go to that tussin. He from that era. Just test it out.
Please tell me that they get him fixed in the next little while. Hopefully hopefully that's the best news that comes out of Mother's Day weekend is that Bo Jackson is no longer hiccuping. Thank you for that story, and hopefully we get a good update on that. Wow. Where are we at in society? We do it every day at 1:45, and if you are out there and you have the hiccups today, we certainly hope you get a good remedy and you are not going through what Bo's dealing with right now.
If me and Chad didn't name a remedy that your parents gave you or your mom gave you since it's Mother's Day, let us know, what do you do to get rid of the hiccups?
Yeah.
Everybody has their own. Like you, I've never heard of the 9 sips of water or slow gulps of water.
That was the thing with that was the first time it worked. I was a little kid, 6, 7 years old, whatever I was, and so my grandmother told me to do, and it worked. Man. And when it works that first time, like, you're going back.
Oh, yeah.
Going back every time. Every time. I've had people tell me it doesn't work for them, but for me, it worked. Somebody looked something up that said Charles Osborne, 68 years world record. Come on, man. Somebody hiccup for 68 years? What?
But what's a world record? Like, what's the span of time that you have to hiccup again?
Oh, I don't know.
You know what I'm saying? Like, if I hiccup on a Tuesday and then I hiccup again on Thursday.
No, that doesn't count.
That don't count.
But also, if I work for the Guinness Company, they send me out to hang with the guy for 68 years? How do we verify? What is it? Hey, man, are you coming home? No, dude, I got to hang out with the hiccup guy. He won't stop, and I have to mark this down as a record. That's my job.
Yeah, 68 years. I'm thinking he saw that dude die. Like that, it wasn't like it stopped. It wasn't like, oh, you're cured. Okay, I could go home. Like, nah, man, you done hiccuping because you gone. Yeah. That's it.
What were his last words? Well, you know what none, but you know what he did right before he died. That's crazy. 68 years. I just didn't realize stuff like that was happening.
Tell everybody
Ugh, that's awful. All the best of Bo Jackson. That is terrible stuff. All right, hopefully he gets that taken care of. 2 o'clock hour coming up. We'll get you the album swap discussion, tell you why May 12th matters. And for us today, we're going to try to learn a little bit about rugby because they're coming to Q2 on June 17th. Premier Rugby Sevens, a new league that's forming this year. There's a Texas team, and we'll find out more about it from the founder and CEO. Stay with us. This is The Horn.
Chad and Zay.
All right, let's go hour number 3 on this Friday. Leading into Mother's Day weekend. It will be on Sunday. So normally hour number 3 of Chad and Zay. I'm Chad Hastings. He's Isaiah Collier. Normally, Zay goes with a beat, but since we're going to Mother's Day, you just thought, let's just go ahead and go.
Yeah, it's Pac. Usually we go with the instrumental, but you got to hear Pac just speaking that real, man. Come on.
What's the name of this one?
Dear Mama.
Okay.
Queen Mama.
Yeah. This one and what's the one that's one of the other one of my favorites? Keep Your Head Up.
Yes.
Is that the name of it?
Yeah.
I always love those Pac songs because it showed the heart.
Yeah.
A little bit.
Right.
If I had to pick, if you say to me, Chad, you need to go listen to either Tupac or Biggie, I'm not getting into the bigger discussion, but I always lean with Pac. And sometimes the heart is the reason.
Yes.
A little more of that heart in Tupac than on the Biggie side. Both extremely talented. I've enjoyed listening to both, but I'd lean Pac kind of for that reason. When he gets on the emotional side, I feel like, okay, that's cool. Show me a little realism there. I like it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm with you.
All right, so Tupac getting us started this hour, and we hope everybody is doing well out there. Hope your mother is doing well. As we said earlier, if your mother is still living, still with us, give her a happy Mother's Day. Have a great time. Might be your first Mother's Day for some, and we wish you all the best on Mother's Day. And if your mother is no longer with us, rest in peace to all those great moms out there. Certainly remember them this Mother's Day and all that they taught you through the years. And maybe the hiccup remedies were part of what your mom taught you and, help you out in certain situations. So we just had that crazy story that Zay threw out about Bo Jackson having hiccups for damn near a year. Not quite a year because it was last July, but if they can't figure this one out with this procedure, it might be a year. And that's wild.
That's crazy.
I did not realize people could hiccup that long. And somebody's telling me somebody's done it for 68 years in the world record. So crazy stuff there. All right, coming up, we'll get into that rugby discussion with the Premier Rugby Sevens folks at 2:30. Right now, though, and we've talked NBA, we'll get Zay's picks on those NBA games, Miami and LA. Do they both finish tonight? Does one of them get it done and the other has to go to Game 7? We'll get those picks before the hour is done. But we also have, and for you Texas baseball fans, Texas baseball over on 1260 and 101.9 for that first game. We'll get you updates through the hour. And then, of course, the second game is tonight at 6:30. All right, so let's get to the album swap discussion. And, did we hit some big dogs this week? So, since for weeks now, I've been thinking Zay should listen to a Metallica album. My wife and I both decided Ride the Lightning was a good place to start. First one I ever listened to. First time I ever heard Metallica. It was the first track of this album. So I thought, let's send Zay down the Ride the Lightning path and see what happens. Zay, this is the most intense thing I've probably had you listen to.
Yeah.
This is thrash metal. This is a little more developed for them because it is the second album. So I'm interested to hear the reaction here. What'd you think?
Impressive.
Yeah.
Only 8 songs, but some of the songs are long as hell, and I'm with it. I see the hype. I was rocking my head in my car, knowing the history of those guys. Their first album, Kill 'Em All, was cool, but you're right, Chad. This is the album that changed everything. And you see just the history on James Hetfield and Urich, Hamlet, and, guy who's not around anymore, Burton.
Oh, Cliff Burton.
Very sad.
My God.
Very sad. I did not know that about Metallica, that they lost him. It seems like a lot of these bands go through some crazy stuff with some of the members, like Def Leppard, somebody lost an arm and stuff.
Right.
So just everybody went through something with the drugs and the alcohol and just living fast in that era, trying to get your big break. And Metallica was the same way. They did the album in Copenhagen, and a lot of those guys, it was tough because they were broke. And I think you could kind of feel it here. Like, hey, this is it. We gotta kind of change some stuff up. And if we do that, this could be our big break. And that's what they got. So very impressive, very creative. The guitars, man, are crazy. Usually, Chad, I would hate an album with no lyrics. Like, why the hell would you have an album with just an instrumental? This makes no sense. If Nas had an album with just an instrumental, I would lose my mind because it would take away Nas's best attribute. That's his lyrics. But it works here. Yeah. And I don't know how, but it works.
It's funny because they had 2 straight albums like this. The next album is also 8 tracks, and it also has an instrumental on it.
See, I was like, how does this work? Like, how am I still digging it?
Yeah.
And I think the fact that they had that song at the very end, Cthulhu?
Call of Cthulhu?
Yeah, Cthulhu.
Uh-huh.
That was very smart that they did it that way.
Oh, yeah, if you start the record with it, that'd be dumb.
That'd be...
Yeah, you don't want to do that.
The fact that they finished it with that, I'm good. I'm good.
Oh, man. Such a good album. Such a good album. I'm glad you enjoyed it. It is where they... We'll say it for both bands today, but it is where they took a step developmental-wise, and the guitars are great. This is, like, for me, it's kind of like I enjoy some of this type of stuff. Like some people enjoy classical music because I can hear the guitar parts in my head. I can hear the rhythms in my head. I don't just hear the vocals in my head. So that's what this era of Metallica is so good at, man. Hetfield, Kirk Hammett, Lars, and Cliff just absolutely slaying this stuff. It's so good.
Now, doing my research, did not know Hetfield was a huge Dick Vitale. Didn't know that. A lot of people don't like him. A lot of people don't like him. I was seeing that Axl Rose called him a racist.
Oh,
At
wow.
one point,
I had not heard that one.
when they went on tour together, and both of those guys butt heads on different things, and Hetfield says that Rose is basically like a prima donna and needs everything perfect and bosses people around. And Axl Rose said, yo, this guy, we had Ice-T around, and this dude completely disrespected Ice-T. So I don't know how accurate that is. Whatever.
Either.
We're not going to get into that. But it was interesting seeing those types of things when you go back and look at their history. Another thing that stood out, Chad, was kind of like the Purple Tape with Raekwon and how iconic that was. The album cover came out green at first.
Really?
So there are a couple like green copies that are out there.
Oh, I didn't realize
that people have that are like legendary copies that probably could sell for a ton of money.
The Green Ride the Lightning albums?
Yeah, the Green Ride the Lightning albums that I saw. Like, the record label was responsible for printing the album, and they made a mistake. The cover went from blue to green, and they realized after 400 copies were, out, they didn't have much money. They said, well, I guess people will have 400 green copies then. So that's how they went about it. Interesting.
Oh, my goodness. All right, so Ride the Lightning. You have a favorite song on Ride the Lightning? Anything jump out at you?
You know what? What's probably going to be surprising on this one is the song that people were saying was the sellout song. Fade to Black, that's my joint. I like that song.
It might be my favorite song on this album.
Really?
Oh, yeah. Dude, Fade to Black's incredible.
I love that song.
It's a wonderful song.
Yo, people said that
it's dark. It's a little more melodic than what they've done. It's a little more ballady, but dude, that song is sung from the perspective of someone that's contemplating suicide. There ain't nothing light about that song, and it's so good.
Yeah, and then just doing a research on that, people said, oh, it's their sellout song. Just because it's against the grain of what they normally do.
Trust me, if there was a Metallica sellout moment, it was a long way past this album. Long way. 6:55 on that one, by the way. 6 minutes and 55 seconds for Fade to Black. No, don't feel bad for loving Fade to Black. That is one of their epics to me. I love Fade to Black. Don't feel bad at all.
Okay.
Don't feel bad at all. All right, so as you may know, Zay is a very tough grader of albums. Let's see where Ride the Lightning finished. Ride the Lightning, Zay, what's the grade?
8.7.
Oh, for Zay, that's big time. 8.7? Isn't that what you did for Aerosmith? Weren't you in that area for Toys in the Attic?
Probably.
You went high 8s for that, too?
Yeah, I look for you to keep up with those things.
8.7. Excellent. All right.
Well done.
Okay. I'm a big Metallica guy. I'd probably put it up towards the A range, but I like an 8.7 from you. I will take that. All right, that album was released in 1984. And about 7 years later, on September the 24th of 1991, that is when the second A Tribe Called Quest album came out. It is called The Low End Theory. That's where Zay told me to go. Said, let's go. You got to go. That's the one you got to check out. Zay, I was thoroughly impressed.
Yo, man, this album changed hip-hop.
Thoroughly impressed. So one of the things that'll frustrate me about a rap album sometimes is a slow start, a sluggish start. We're going to put a skit in there that's a minute and a half, 2 minutes, 5 minutes, whatever it is to get it started. We're not going. This album does not do that at all. It jumps right in. It gets right in. Excursions is the first track, and it starts pretty quickly. There are no little 30-second vignettes throughout to kind of even give you a breath. This thing starts. It never really lets up. 14 tracks, and I get it. I get why this is a big deal to a lot of people. I get why you said this is the one I should listen to. Hit 45 on the Billboard 200. It topped out at number 13 on the hip-hop charts. But at one point, Rolling Stone called this the 43rd best album ever. All genres included. 43rd best album ever. That really hit me when I realized that they considered it top 50, but again, I understand it, man. Just so smooth, so well delivered. The beats are incredible. It's intelligent. It's not. It's topical without being overly angry. And I love angry rap, but this doesn't come at you like NWA. It doesn't come at you like Public Enemy. This comes at you a little bit of a different way, and it's so structured. It's so, again, smooth is the best thing I can keep saying about it. It's such a smooth album. The way it is delivered, you just can't, it's like you're upset when the songs are over. You know what I mean?
Yo,
like
yeah.
instead of okay, let's get through some of this. No. You just want it more and more. The Check the Rhyme song, I'd heard that song even though I may not have known I heard it. That little line about, but the 5 is not the man. That thing, I've heard that a lot. Didn't really know where it came from.
Right.
And now I hear the actual song. That's great. Jazz is great. Vibes and Stuff.
Oh, man.
One of my favorites. Maybe not a song that, I don't know if that's is a song that gets a lot of love or not. That was awesome. Verses from the Abstract is a great song. My favorite song on the album that's probably not a massive hit, the song What, I loved.
Oh, yeah, Q-Tip.
2.5 minutes of just incredible lyricism. That was awesome. Scenario, the Busta Rhymes intro that you were telling me about, I knew that was coming, and that's such a catchy little hook, too. So it was great, man. I get it. I told my daughter if she was looking for a rap album to listen to check it out. She had listened to the whole thing by the end of yesterday and said, you're right, it's really good. That's how good a record this was. She went through it, just took off and didn't stop.
Yeah.
Dude, it was really, really good. Let me see if there's anything. What else did I write down? Oh, and also that it got its love in the Library of Congress. The Library of Congress put that album in because of its cultural significance. So I totally understand why this album would be important. The cover, I love both of these album covers, by the way. Metallica with the electric chair, but this one with the woman painted up in, I think is it supposed to be like
it's like Afrocentric colors.
It's an African, the African colors, but like a bright neon almost version of it. That's incredible. Eye-catching album cover. It was awesome. So, before I give my grade, Zay, I'm going to start doing this now because I know how hard of a grader you are. I've already written it down. What would you give Low End Theory?
9.2.
Ooh, 9.2.
What's crazy is I like Midnight Marauders better. Their next album that came out in 93, I'll probably give that a 9.3.
Really?
Yeah.
The next one?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
That's just my personal opinion.
All right. Well, you going 9.2?
Yes, sir.
You're too low. You're too low. I think this is the highest grade I've given so far because I'm going one notch higher than what I did for one of the Wu-Tang albums. And I think it was
Liquid Swords.
Either Liquid Sword. Yes. Was it Liquid Swords? I think they got the highest grade.
Yeah.
I'm going 9.6.
Woo!
9.6 on the Low End Theory.
I can't hate it.
I am not putting a low end grade on the Low End Theory. It is high-end stuff.
I can't hate it. You got to understand, during this time in 1990, 91, when it came to hip-hop and sampling and trying to make a beat, you were going to Motown and James Brown. And Q-Tip said, how can we be different? He went the jazz route, as you hear right here on Butter. He went the jazz route and said, okay, let's see if we could, because his pops was a huge jazz guy.
Yeah.
Let's see if we can mesh hip-hop and jazz together, and they perfected it.
Yeah, still making that sound cool. That's a tough thing to do, and it's impressive.
Not too many people can rap and produce and write their own lyrics. Everybody says, well, Dr. Dre wasn't writing his lyrics. Cube was.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if Dre still writes his lyrics or was during that Chronic era.
Yeah.
But Tip was doing that and making the beats. Ali Shari Muhammad, he deserves a lot of credit because he was the other producer. And then Phife Dawg, we're sports guys. Phife Dawg might be the best sports rapper of all time.
I was going to say, a lot of cool sports references.
The dude said Scott Stiles, Karl Malone. Yes. I don't know who else he said.
Yes.
Maybe Scott Stiles, or even Karl Malone. It's the bone. Like,
so good.
It's nuts. And they have a documentary, which is really sad because at the end, because Phife Dawg, he's no longer with us.
Oh, okay.
He had a bad stint with diabetes. He talked about him just being addicted to sugar.
I heard he got diagnosed with diabetes right before the album.
Yeah, right before the album, so he didn't really know where he was going. And Tip came to him and was like, yo, even though we dropped the first album, which is basically Q-Tip and a little bit of Phife, he's like, I need you for this next one. We could do something special. Phife came along, and they made history. And both of those guys, at the end, they just didn't get along with one another. It's really sad. You know the actor Michael Rappaport?
Oh, yeah.
He directed the documentary.
Oh, okay.
So he's very close with the guys.
I love Rappaport.
Yeah, go watch that. It's a classic. You get to see a lot of insight on how people feel about A Tribe Called Quest. And if it wasn't for Tribe Called Quest, we wouldn't have a Pharrell. We wouldn't have a lot of guys like the Native Tongues era. Just legendary.
What's the documentary called? Do you know?
Beats, Rhymes, and something.
Okay.
Yeah, just type in Michael Rappaport.
Gotcha. Yeah,
Tribe Called Quest.
I will do that. Couple things I've read about it, that this is the album that made Dre want to do a solo record and ended up doing the Chronic.
Yeah.
It's in and then the other one in a non-rap reference was an artist that was really influenced by this album that went on to be a big deal later on was Jack White. That Jack's always talked about, apparently that album specifically. Really changed everything.
This is him. Leonardo DiCaprio's favorite album.
Is that right?
All the time.
That's fantastic.
Yeah, and Busta Rhymes, this is how he got big because Leaders of the New School were part of the Native Tongues and Scenario. Just one of the most iconic verses ever from Busta. Yeah, man, he loves Q-Tip. I remember seeing on that documentary, he says, not Vibes and stuff, because that's what we're listening to, verses from The Abstract. One of his favorite songs ever. Like he remembers when Tip made it because the first person that Tip says in that song is Busta Rhymes and the fact.
Yeah.
Shaheed in effect. So that song will always be connected to Busta. And yeah, man, gosh, I hate that they had a bad falling out before Phife died. I know that kills Q-Tip.
It's a good, it's really well done. And the interaction between Q-Tip and Phife Dawg is really good as well. Impressive stuff, man. I think it's a great album. So there you go. As always, I probably overgrade and Zay probably undergrades on things. He's a tough grader. He's tough. Zay's going to get you what you need. Zay's going to make sure you're getting through the class. I'm the guy you want to take for summer school because I think it's all great. I don't think it's all great. Y'all should know me by now. I'm a music snob enough to tell you if I thought it was bad, I'd tell you it was bad. I ripped on that Lil' Kim album for reasons that nobody thought I would rip on it because I didn't think it was enough.
Yeah, you didn't think it was nasty enough.
It didn't go far enough. I didn't think they gave her the respect she needed on that album. I'll tell you if I think it's bad, this was just smooth. Oh, my God. This was just gravy and honey and whatever else you have. The perfect, what Shaq likes to say, barbecue chicken?
Barbecue chicken.
Just the perfect barbecue chicken.
Can you dig it?
This is ribs falling off the bone is what this was. You know when you pick up the rib and you just literally just got a bone in your hand, you just throw the bone aside and go. It's that tender. That's what this album is, man. It was so smooth to listen to. There are...
they were like 20, 21 years old.
Yeah. I haven't listened to a ton of rap albums. There's some I think that are great, and I got to add this one to the list now. If somebody says, hey, what's a great rap album that you like? I mean... Straight Outta Compton was already there, and the Black Album from Jay-Z, and some Eminem's there, and there's others that I would say I like, but I don't know if I'm great. The Outkast record that we talked about, I think Southern Playalistic is great.
Yeah.
I'd call that great. This is absolutely there.
So now you see why people have a hard time picking best group out of Tribe and Outkast?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's difficult. That's really difficult. And then, even when you look at something like that first Wu-Tang album that you had me listen to, that's a great album too, I think.
Yeah.
I think I'd put that up in that great category.
Oh, absolutely. 36 Chambers. Yes.
Yeah, in addition to the solo stuff that I listened to there. All right, so there you go. That's the album swap. Now, next week, I think we may do a slight detour. Somebody was asking, hey, what about the movie review? We've had movie reviews in the middays, years ago with our man Trey and some others. But BK back in the day, been doing some movies. So we thought we'd take a little break. Next week, I think we're going to do a movie swap where we each have to watch a movie we have not seen because I haven't seen a ton. Jay's been on me about not seeing Blue Chips. And so I think I'm going to watch Blue Chips. And yesterday I found out Zay hasn't seen A Few Good Men. And that's one of my favorites. So I think that's what we're going to do next week. You up for a little Tom Cruise and Jack Nicholson and Demi Moore?
Yeah, I'm up for it.
Yeah?
Am I going to cry?
And I don't think you're going to cry.
Okay.
And we got to deal with, I got to go hang out with Shaq and Nick Nolte, right? Is that it? All right. I think we're going to do that. We're going to do that next week.
Oh, man. What a bad, good film.
All right. Oh, I like bad, good film. Sometimes that can be good. All right. Coming up, Why Today Matters. We will talk to the founder and CEO of Premier Rugby Sevens. They've got a big event coming up in June at Q2. If you love rugby, it is coming to town. If you don't know anything about it, you still may want to head out to Q2 because they got a party planned. We'll tell you about it next on The Horn.
Chad and Zay.
Rolling through our Friday, we're getting ready for Mother's Day this Sunday. Zay, you've been sticking with this theme pretty good. Do you feel like if you bust the theme up, it'll mean that, that you maybe that you're trying to disrespect moms, so you're going to stick with it?
Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah,
I got to stick with it.
Right.
Moms are so important.
All right, should I know this one?
No, I barely know this one.
Oh, all right. Well, who is it?
This is Nas.
Oh, okay.
Song's called Dance.
I had somebody ask me, who was I talking to Nas about? Oh, I was talking to my daughter about Nas because somebody, and you'll appreciate this, somebody in a class, they were just having a discussion about things like artistic works, music, art, whatever it is, that should be preserved for mankind. And she had a classmate argue for a Nas album. And it was the Illmatic album.
That kid's going places. For a kid born in the 2000s,
right?
To say Illmatic, which it is a classic album, but to know that.
So I told her, I said, hey, I do have a Nas double disc up there. If you want a CD copy of something, I said, go check it out. He's pretty damn good.
Yeah, man.
Yeah. All right. So Nas joins the group today. Songs with the mom influence. Juvenile, Mr. T, believe it or not. Boyz II Men and Fountains of Wayne have all been on the show today. Great Tupac song. The song for Mama to start the hour as well. Hope all of our moms have a great Mother's Day out there. And also hope everybody stays nice and safe and dry this weekend with all the rain. All right, let's get you why today matters. We got a special guest on this May 12th. Here we go. All right, we're going to get after it with some rugby talk today, ladies and gentlemen. We got the founder and CEO of Premier Rugby Sevens in the studio with us. It is Owen Scannell. Owen, how are you?
Doing good. Thanks for having me, Chad. Really excited to be here.
Man, we appreciate the time, and we're kind of trying to get folks educated on what this league is and what you guys have going on. So I know there's an event coming up in June at Q2.
That's right.
Before we get there, how long has Premier Rugby Sevens been going on?
So this will be year 3.
Okay.
We started in 2021. Our first year in Austin was last year. We actually had our championship weekend in Austin last year, which was our most attended event ever. And we're really excited to be coming back in June, back to Q2 Stadium as well.
And this is, so Premier Rugby Sevens, for the people that might not be familiar, I'll admit, this is one of those questions I've been going through today. A 7-on-7 rugby, is if somebody grew up watching some rugby, was that 7-on-7 as well? Or
so if you're a traditional hardcore rugby fan, you're used to seeing 15 guys and girls out there on the field.
Okay.
Guys or girls, let me be clear there. It's guys or girls. But, 15 aside is what you kind of normally would expect. Kind of comparable in football would be like 11. Imagine if, like, in football, you took off the offensive line and you were just playing with the receivers and the running backs, and that was the game. That's kind of what 7 aside is like in rugby, the kind of equivalent. So
like 7-on-7,
kind of a 7-on-7
football.
7-on-7 football.
7-on-7 football, but almost like if you took off, like you went down to 5-on-5 football. Too.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it creates a lot of space for really, I guess the way I describe it is like the most exciting parts of rugby, right? You get all of the scoring, the tackling, the big hits, the big plays, that all happens, and it happens in this really fast window of 14 minutes long. So the games, because it's so physically demanding for the players, they have to shorten the window down, and it's played in this tournament style format, which is really fun, kind of festival atmosphere that goes around it, and just creates for just a really cool fan experience. If you've never seen rugby before, you're going to pick it up in like 2 minutes. It's really, really accessible and really intuitive.
Very cool. Okay.
Yeah.
So where are you from? Where are you from? Because
I'm from the Northeast originally.
Okay, so how'd you get into rugby? Just, because obviously not being looked at in America as a main sport. We know main sports, football, basketball, baseball, hockey. How'd you get into rugby?
Yeah, I was a high school soccer player, and I kind of picked up soccer a little bit later in life than most. Kind of got into college, and I think actually it's probably a relatively, I'd say, classic story for a lot of people in American rugby. Where you get to college and you discover rugby for the first time. There's this great kind of network of clubs and programs around the country at the college level. That was where I found it. Really immensely formative for me. You meet a great group. It's a great social experience.
Mhm.
But it's really great from the opportunity, I think, to play a sport at a really high level, and play something where you get to kind of, everybody that plays is empowered in a lot of ways. I think unlike football, or not to say anything negative about football, but football, you get really specialized, right? You come in, you get put into, say, you're going to be a guard, right? Or you're going to be a receiver, you're going to be a defensive back based on your skill set. The cool thing about rugby is that everybody in the sport has to do everything, right? Everybody picks up the ball, runs with it, can score, can pass, even can kick. You might not everybody should kick, but everybody can kick. And it basically creates this game where, everybody, no matter what shape or size you are, you're all kind of contributing to this great, this outcome collectively. So really cool sport in terms of the values, and it kind of imparts onto people that play it. And really fun to play. I think the version that we have, this Rugby Sevens, is one of the most exciting versions to watch, right? And to actually see the game and say, how does it all work, right? I think the cool thing and the opportunity we have there is the ability to see what it looks like live and really get kind of the best parts of it.
The thing that jumped out to me, you mentioned that 14 minutes, 2 7-minute halves,
correct,
is a game here. So the fact that, like you said, it's a reasonable amount of time. If I'm watching, if I'm going out there as a fan to learn about it, it's something that is not taking a ton of time. And then for this event on the 17th, walk me through. I know that the Texas team is part of it. Each team has a men's and women's team, correct?
Yeah. So we have 4 franchises that are going to be playing. Each franchise has 2 teams. We call franchises is the core team, kind of brand that oversees it, and there are 2 teams that compete on behalf of that franchise. So Texas will have the team. We call it the team, like a team of horses. It's a name that I think some people love, some people hate, and I think you kind of know if you're in on it or not. If you say, oh, I like that, then you're a team fan, right? That's you don't have to. It's not for everybody, but it's those who know. And so they'll both play a kind of semifinal knockout type of round, kind of first 2 hours. There'll be an entertainment break. We'll have a live band that I can't announce quite yet, but which will be really exciting. And then they'll play the consolation matches and the finals. So then you'll have a winner. The Texas team will be the home team. They'll be the host of the tournament. And so they just got to win 2 games to hopefully take it home.
Gotcha. Okay, so you'll see the men's and women's team both perform, both have a game, and hopefully advance, and they could both win that individual matchup.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. They have two separate tournaments.
Gotcha.
Yeah, you obviously know we cover a ton of football, and the way the game's played nowadays isn't what it was back in the 90s, where guys were getting a whole bunch of concussions and you could take off on heads like Ronnie Lott. He probably wouldn't be able to play nowadays. But with that comes, you hear the rugby tackling, rugby form tackling. Have you been approached by any football coaches just about like learning how to do technique, and how do you go about that by just transitioning like rugby style to football game?
Yeah, it's interesting. There's a lot of interest in football to learn about rugby, right? Because rugby has been kind of at the forefront of making the game safer, right? And it's the game that's predicated on safety, right? There's a level of trust in a full contact sport where you don't wear any pads that, everyone's going to kind of engage in a way that's, that's conducive to the safety of everybody.
Right.
And because of that, right, the rules are a lot stricter and a lot more different than football. You have to wrap, right? There's no kind of shoulder charge. There's no, you can't lead with the crowd of your helmet because you don't have a helmet, right? Your skull's going to get, you'll have some problems there if you decide to do that. And so there is a real kind of focus on, hey, it's a wrap tackle. You're responsible for bringing the player to the ground safely. It's got to be below the neck. It's got to be above the knees, right? And so it creates this dynamic where there's, it's actually, despite the lack of pads, it is a safer experience just because of the way people engage in it.
Right.
I know a lot of football programs are looking at that, and I think the Seahawks a number of years back, when they had Richard Sherman and that kind of, I think the Super Bowl defense, where they were had gotten a lot of I think praise for this tackling style that they brought in. They said, yeah, we took some notes from rugby. So yeah, it's definitely an exciting one for sure.
Yeah, I know I've heard Pete Carroll talk about rugby tackling. Absolutely. By the way, if you go to hornfm.com, we've got a link up there for you. You can go see the full PR7 schedule. You can see a video kind of outlining how each event works, and you can get into a little bit more of how the game plays out. Again, Q2 Stadium. It is the June 17th. We've also got a link up there for you to go get tickets. For people who've been out to Q2, maybe to see an Austin FC match, it can become a pretty crazy place out there. How about the environment at a PR7's event, Premier Rugby 7's event? Tell everybody kind of what the vibe is going to be if they're looking to, maybe bring some family out there. What's it like?
Yeah, the Sevens has this fantastic global brand of what it's all about, right? Which is it's a festival, right? People come out. There's a lot of games going on. You come out, maybe you watch your team. You take you watch your game. Then you take a little bit of time off, right? You go listen to music. You go hang out in the festival village. We've got a lot of really exciting programming that we're going to be putting on and kind of building out that adjacent atmosphere, to create a really fun fan experience. I think the kind of what people expect when they think about Sevens, right? One of the big things is costumes, right? Fans around the world, whether you're in Hong Kong or Dubai, these kind of famous global Seven stops, people show up in costumes, right? And so for people coming in the first time, you look at it and you say, what's going on here? Like, what are these people doing? And it's really this tradition that came out of really just people, going on trips and deciding to have fun, that they wanted to, go up in fancy dress. So you get these groups that'll come in with themes. One of the better ones I've seen, I saw a group last year doing Will Ferrell characters. So they had like a Buddy the Elf. They had a guy Mugatu.
Right.
They had
that's funny.
Yeah,
Anchorman, all that stuff.
Anchorman. I think there was like 3 or 4. Who's the Tropic Thunder? Or not Tropic Thunder. The
like Ricky Bobby and
one Ricky Bobby. It was the Flint Tropics.
Right, Jackie Moon.
Jackie Moon.
Yeah.
And you just kind of pick out, the fun part for me is always to guess the theme from afar. But you'll see some people, they'll come as like the Power Rangers. They'll come as the Marvel characters. Right? It's just it's all over the park. And it creates a really fun, kind of lighthearted environment. Right? There's sing-alongs. Obviously there's beer, but it's a great family experience. To kind of just to relax and enjoy kind of one of the cooler sports out there, in my opinion.
All right, Zay, I'll throw on the bejeweled hat and shoes I wore to Harry Styles. You get a costume. We'll go see some rugby. How about that?
I'm with it.
You're in?
I'm with it.
Ready to go? Let's
dress
do it.
up.
All right, June 17th is the event at Q2, and there are events all over the country, but this is the one that is coming to our area. The Texas team, get out there, check it out. Again, there's a men's team, women's team, and then so each of them can ultimately win a championship, and then the teams together as an organization can win a championship too. Pretty cool stuff. The PR7s. Again, you can check out hornfm.com. You can go to pr7s.com and check it all out. Premier Rugby 7s. Owen Scannell, the founder and CEO. Nice enough to come in and give us a little time today, man. Best of luck with all of this, and hopefully it's a great show out there on the 17th, and they can't tell the difference between y'all and that crazy Austin FC crowd.
Yeah, that's the aspiration, and it's looking really exciting at the moment. So yeah, hopefully we'll see you all out there, and should be a really good Saturday.
You mentioned your championship weekend real quick. How many were out there last year? How many did you get out to Q2 last year?
A couple thousand. So I think
nice.
It was really really good atmosphere, really good environment, and yeah, hopefully going to build on that this year, which we're really excited about.
Very cool,
man. Owen, salute to you, man. For you to be a founder, you don't look a day over 25. I don't know what you're doing, but man, you're doing something special.
It ages me on the inside. That's where it's, all that stress. It manifests somewhere, but I appreciate it.
Rugby stresses you from the inside. I don't know if that's the logo. I don't know if that's what you want.
Yeah. Rugby also, if I were playing, it would stress me from the outside too.
Yes, it does both. Now I watched some highlights today. It is very exciting. It's obviously got a good physicality to it because rugby always has. But the 7-on-7 idea is really interesting. I like the speed of it. Definitely feels different than some of the rugby I've seen before. So it's cool stuff. Owen, we appreciate the time. And again, best of luck with that. We're proud to be a partner with Premier Rugby 7. So check them out. ps7s.com if you want to check out, pr7s.com, the website. If you want to check them out directly, you can go to hornfm.com and link to the video, the schedules, and find out more about Premier Rugby Sevens. Coming up, Stems and Seeds will get you our predictions for the games tonight. Will the Lakers and Heat advance to the next round? We'll tell you what we think next on The Horn.
Chad and Zay.
We're going to end with a sweet one. I hope you have a good Mother's Day on Sunday. I do not recognize this one, but sounds like it's a heartfelt sentiment. What's it called?
I'll give you a hint. The guest that we had on yesterday, it was his come out music when he wrestled. One of his come out songs was this group.
Okay. Well, the group that I've heard you reference when you discuss Mark Henry is 3-6 Mafia.
There we go.
All right. There we go. That just proves I was paying attention. Not that I could recognize the song, but at least I was paying attention. 3-6 Mafia. And what's it called, song?
Baby Mama.
Baby Mama. That is so good. Now,
yeah,
wait.
with all the mothers out there that we love, I know some of y'all got some baby mamas that probably ain't the best. You don't get along with
and
it.
That's the other thing that probably doesn't get said enough that needs to be said. If on this Mother's Day, if you have a crazy mom, and you don't want to be around her and you're not going to be, have a good weekend.
Yeah.
It's not all roses and happiness for everybody. If you got a crazy mom and you don't have a great relationship, but you don't want to have one, have a good weekend. Do whatever you do. Doesn't have to be.
Yeah, if your mom's like George Costanza's, you want to get away from her as quick as possible and never want to be around her, that's okay too.
Oh, my God. I don't think there was anything funnier to me from her than when she thought she caught him. She thought she caught him, and she's like, why do you want you treating your body like an amusement park? That was my favorite. Oh, yes. A lot of different moms out there, whatever kind of mom you have or you have now or have had, whatever it is that you're looking for this Mother's Day, we do hope you find it. We hope everybody stays safe and dry this weekend because it's crazy with the weather and the rain that's coming. Also, we want to remind you that Texas baseball is going on right now. Ends up having to be a doubleheader, unfortunately, today, but trying to get you they're trying to get that series in. So game 1 is going on right now. Texas is up 2-0 in the top of the 4th. It's over on 1260 and 1019. Shows will run normally till 6:15, and then game 2 is at 6:30. All right, let's get these picks out for the NBA and see what else we can do with stems and seeds.
No stress, no seeds, no stems, no sticks.
Brought to you by AV Consultations, 255-8678, or go to avconsultations.com. All right, Zay, 2 teams trying to close the door. Jimmy Butler and the Miami Heat. Do they win it and go to the Eastern Conference Finals?
Yeah, unfortunately, I think they win tonight. I don't want that to happen. Game 7 at the Garden on Sunday. It's hard to beat that, so that's what I'm praying for. I don't know if Jalen Brunson could play 48 minutes and give you 38 again. That's a lot of minutes this time of the year, and to come back and have that same quick first step and be able to post up like he does, he's going to need more for RJ Barrett. I love the way Quentin Grimes was. And on the other side, Jimmy Butler, that was his lone bad game of the playoffs. Now again, over 20 points. Haven't seen that Jimmy Butler this whole playoff run. So he's going to be really aggressive tonight. He told Spo, if you need me for 48, I'll be ready. And I expect something of that sorts tonight in Miami.
I think they're going to beat him bad.
Do you really?
I think they're going to beat him by 10, 15, somewhere in that range. It won't be like Denver last night. I think it's going to be clear, though, by the end that it's Miami. I'll agree with you there. I like Miami. Lakers, Golden State. Does Steph Curry force a Game 7?
Yeah, he does. I think it's Klay Thompson Game 6.
Okay.
Game 6 Klay.
He's got to come back from that one, right?
He has to. These last 2 games, he's been terrible. And then back in 2016, where they were down 3-1 to the Oklahoma City Thunder, Klay had one of his best games of his career in that Game 6 in OK City. So I expect him to have a big game. He's been struggling. Has he been doing too much because he's an LA native with his pops and stuff? Maybe, but Andrew Wiggins was good in that game, Game 5. So was Draymond. We know what Steph's going to bring. They cannot stop that pick and roll involving Anthony Davis. Clearly, he's dealing with his head injury. LeBron's dealing with his leg. Yeah, I think the Warriors are going to take it back to the Bay for the Game 7.
I am rooting for the Lakers, but I'm going to keep picking Golden State till they're dead. They are Michael Myers. They are Jason Voorhees. And until I see that score go the Lakers' way, I agree with you. I think the Golden State's going to force Game 7. In that case, I think we get 2 Game 7s on Sunday because Celtics-Sixers will be a Sunday game. They haven't set the time yet, but if we get 2